I'll hit it again. Okay, we're being live streamed. If you guys don't want your voice or your image on YouTube and being broadcast around the world, just turn your camera or your mic off. You're still welcome to participate to what level that you feel comfortable with. Okay, let's see here. Let me put this down here and get that radar back up there where it belongs. And waiting for the 8 o'clock frame to come in, but it looks like it's going to move off now. And it looks like I have made it through it from a power standpoint here. Yes, that's fine. All right. Wow. Craziness. All right. Tonight, this is the Southwest Florida TechNet. My name is Ian KO4EFS, and we'll be joined shortly with my co-host, Joseph KM4OVZ, who may have overdosed on sweet and sour Pringles. I'm not sure. But we're going to find out here in just a few minutes. Let's see here. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the shack. I have been going through a shack remodel now for about 30 days. And I've kind of worked you guys through it each step of the way. Tonight, I've got everything I need to finish. And I'm going to be working over the weekend to finish this side of the room. My Broadcastify feeds will be down over the weekend. There'll be a notice up there that I'm remodeling or whatever. So you guys will be able to see that. If you go there, it'll remind you that it's down. But I just, tonight we're going to go through a lot of the different things I learned in this process. The different things that I bought, the things that are working out, the things that aren't working out, and see if there's something I can pass along that might help you along. Joseph has also built and torn down his shack like 5 times now. And he keeps reimagining what he's putting together there too. So he'll be in just a few minutes, and we'll talk to him about that as well. I see we got Rick, we got Grumpy Ham in. There's a number of you guys. I'm just kidding, kind of. And we got Chris is in, and let's see who else. Yeah, hey, let's see. There's others. I can't see them. I'm in this mode where I can't see the people who are not. Let's see who else we got here. I'll go away. I guess that's about it, Rick. And yeah, and I'm in here twice because I have my laptop over here as my system monitor, so I can make sure that I'm going out and coming back okay. All right, I'm sure we'll have more joining us here in just a little while. I'm expecting 3 or 4 others that I know are going to be here, so we'll just give them a few minutes to get here. Over the last week, I've been working a lot on my system, and I got to tell you guys, I'm loving it. I'm having a great time with it. And now that has motivated me to finish my shack up now that I've got that going well. And I've got it all hooked up to all these different screens that you see. The main computer is, if you guys are looking in the bottom left here, I'll show you. We'll go to this screen here. Now, my room is a mess right now, so excuse the mess, but you can see that screen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 on the main computer. And then 8, 9, 10 are on the FT8 computer, which is a standalone computer up here. It's an old Dell workstation. It works really, really well. It was overbuilt when it was built 10 years ago, and it's a really good workstation. It's running Windows 10 Pro, and I run FT8 and Grid Tracker on it, and I use all 3 screens on that to track those 2 programs. And then I've got a spot here for my laptop if I want to bring it out here with me. And then over to the right, you really can't see it in this view. I'll switch it over. Over here to the right, you can see I've got my ICOM 756 Pro 2, and then above that, I've got my Kenwood receiver, and above that, I've got my tuner, and the tuner is hooked up to whichever radio I'm needing it for. I have some bands I can get on without it, and some I can't. Over here on the this is the radio tree. I've got a small little multi-band UHF VHF up here. That's my little what is that? I forget what it is. A little thing, a little Chinese radio. And then I got 2 Yaesus that are the M2500s. They're like an old mil-spec type ham radio. that were made like something that was in the military. It's actually pretty cool. It's a neat radio. I ended up with two of them and they both work. I'm using one to receive APRS and I'm using the other one to just listen to repeaters and talk on repeaters. And then I got my signal link there as well. And the signal link is hooked up to the middle radio here, which is the FT100, which does all of my digital communication. It actually has the heavy load. And you can see up here from the air conditioner, I have the tubing that comes down, and that tubing comes down and it can either be routed into my computer, which it is right now because I'm not using FT8 tonight. That's why my CPU is only at 125 degrees and I'm running a whole show on it right now. But I can also direct that into the FT100 and I can chill that thing down to about 50 degrees and it will end up making it to where it runs. It'll run without any wear and tear on the finals. And that's the big thing you got to worry about. So that's how I got all that set up. The radio tree, how I built that, I took a piece of flat stock that had holes all the way down the middle of it, like a piece of metal stock. You know how you can buy those 4-foot long pieces of just a flat piece of metal with holes all the way down it? You get them at Home Depot. I bought one of those and I folded it into a U and I mounted it on my table. And then I just bent it so that each radio fits in it just right. And there I have an entire radio tree. It fits all in here nice and tight. And it gives me spots on both sides to hang all my microphones. And I've got my whole, radio set up on one tree there. And then of course the big computers in the back there, you can see that. That's pretty much it. On the other side now, what I'm building over here is I got 4 more of those brackets that I used for these screens. These screens are now on brackets. They move around. They're really clean. I really like that. And I was so happy with it that I bought the lumber I need to go ahead and build a bracket down this side. And I'm going to have 4 more down this side that are all mounted on those same brackets again. Also, I know you can't really see it, but back over here, you can see one that this one back here. Look at this. See this one here? Look at this. It's actually, I got this at a secondhand store for $3. It's a clip-on monitor holder, and it's just clipped on the shelf back there. And it gives me a perfect bracket for my last monitor because the shelf wasn't quite long enough on this side. So it worked out perfect. I got the 4 screens I need on this side, and then I'll have the 4 screens I need over here. On all these screens are already taken. That's screen 7, computer 1, and then these 3 are on computer number 5, which is the FT8 computer. The one up there you see is actually on computer 3, which is a Linux computer, and all it does is monitor the bands. It gives me band information off the PSK reporter. That's all it does, but I can make it do whatever else I need it to do. Over here on this side, and I'll put it back here so you can see it. Over here on this side, these are my security cameras. That's going to stay there, except once I get all those computers are going to be moved down and down so that I can move these screens way back. Notice I've got all this desk space. I want desk space. Before, everything was right to the edge of the desk, and I hate that. Now I got drawers. All my keyboards are in drawers. And I'm going to have another drawer over here for this keyboard. And that keyboard is going to be for those 3 machines. That keyboard is for those 3 machines. And then this keyboard's for the main machine. It's all right there. It's very, very handy. And then I'm going to have my camera system on this big screen over here on the left. And then to the left of that is actually Air TV with a $45 antenna that I bought. I'm able to get about 70 channels on it. I'm getting some Sarasota channels if I point it that way, and I can even get a few Miami channels if I shoot it over the Everglades. I'm very surprised at what you can get on air. The one that really surprises me is Heroes and Icons, H&I. They play Star Trek all weeknights. And it's all Star Trek all night. And so that's pretty cool. I like the fact that Star Trek is still somewhere being broadcast on air television every night. Anyway, I did, and I'll take this opportunity. I just wanted to mention briefly, we lost Nichelle Nichols this week. For those of you who are big Trekkie fans like me, you guys all remember Nichelle Nichols. She was Lieutenant Uhura. She wore the red uniform and was behind Captain Kirk. Beautiful, beautiful black lady. One of my first nerdy crushes when I was a kid. I just thought she was gorgeous. I still do. We lost her a couple days ago to old age. She just finally passed. And I just wanted to mention it on the show tonight. I talked about it on my radio show with Tron Simpson, our fill-in host on Tuesday or Wednesday. We talked about it. It was the morning after it happened, or the evening after it happened. But I just wanted to mention that, and I was going to do it at the top, and I forgot, so I'm going to do it right now. But I just wanted to mention we lost Nichelle Nichols, who played Lieutenant Nyota Uhura on Star Trek. She also played in a number of the feature films. And she was one of the best. And I just want to put that out there. We've lost almost all of them now. We're down to we still have Walter Koenig, who played Chekhov. We still have George Takei, oh my, who played Sulu. And we still, of course, have Bill. I mean, Bill's never going to die. Bill Shatner. I mean, you know, I imitate him a lot on this show.
His name is William.
His name's William Shatner, and
there's something on the wing. Something.
Yeah, there's some thing on the wing. I tell you, one of the funniest scenes I've ever seen in television was when Bill Shatner shows up on Third Rock from the Sun with John Lithgow. Now, for those of you who are movie fans, you would know that in the original Twilight Zone, Bill Shatner played the crazy guy on the plane that saw the freak on the wing, the thing on the wing tearing the engine up. And come to find out at the end, there was something up there tearing the engine up. Remember that episode of the Twilight Zone? Are you guys with me?
No.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Well, anyway, later on, they did a movie, a Twilight Zone movie, I think in the late 80s or something. And they remade that, and John Lithgow played the same part that Bill Shatner played back in the late 50s when he played the part before Star Trek. He saw the creature through the window on the plane. Well, on Third Rock from the Sun, he says, Bill Shatner walks in and tells John Lithgow, I'm sorry, I'm late. There was some creature on the plane. It was out on the wing and it was tearing up the motor. And John Lithgow goes, the same thing happened to me. It was just hilarious. I love when they bring things together on other shows, retconning or whatever you guys want to call it, fan service, as I call it. I love fan service. And that was a good one. Anyway, to finish up, we lost Nichelle Nichols, and it is what it is. She was great. She was the first Black woman to kiss a white man on network television. So,
man, that's really sad.
It is, and she was groundbreaking in that respect. But a little story I just want to tell. If you're Trekkies, you know this story, but she was at a dinner one night, and it was I'm not sure what kind of dinner. It was some big dinner, a lot of big wigs there, and Dr. Martin Luther King was there, and he was sitting at a table on the other side of the room, and he saw her, and he told his handler, "I'm going to see her. That's Lieutenant Uhura. I'm going to see her." And he got up and he walked over to her table and walked up and kissed her hand and told her that he watches her on Star Trek and he loves her on Star Trek. And she said, well, unfortunately, sir, I'm going to leave the show. I'm considering leaving the show because I don't feel like I'm getting enough lines. And he says, you can't leave that show. He says, you can't leave that show. You're a Black woman on that bridge and you're important. You can't leave that show. And she stayed. And now it's, of course, it's legend now. The largest television franchise ever. All right. Anyway, so there you go. I just wanted to put that out there for you. We're almost up to 600 hours of Star Trek. You could binge that for a year.
Wow.
I'm just putting that out there.
That's
if you've never watched Star Trek, get started. What are you waiting on? couple
Oh,
months of
good.
Paramount
I've
Plus. I
never
mean, that's
watched
cheap.
Star Trek. That's hard to imagine. You'd be culturally deprived.
You know what? I have met people just recently that, Rick, are almost your age or your age, that tell me they've never watched Star Trek.
They got a problem.
And after I get done berating them for being uncultured, I ask them, I said, why did you never stop on that channel? It's on somewhere. If your TV has 1,000 channels, Star Trek's on 4 times. I'm not lying. Anyway, all right, enough of that. Does anybody have anything on that before I move on?
I got something else.
Go, Joseph.
Okay, yeah, I'm still doing the Shack thing, but we can jump around. What you got?
I know you talked a lot about banners and putting your like logo on stuff. What was that website that you had found where you can do that, where you can
that's called Flaming Text.
No, I mean like actually ordering a banner and having it shipped to you, like having them print a banner.
I know Cafe Press does that.
Cafe Press, that's what it was.
Yeah, Cafe Press does that. They're a great website. Let me see if I can pull that up here, if I can get this damn thing to work.
Because Hamfest is in less than a month, and I just realized we don't have a banner for our table.
Oh,
okay. And we need to get one like ASAP. We also need a good design. There's this like one of those sort of like TechNet themed backgrounds that you have somewhere on there. Was really cool. I have to go back and find it probably. But I want to put that and then put the logo and then the text that says North Alabama Tech Team.
That would be cool. Is it that circular one I use on everything, or
well, the circle?
Just get with me over the weekend. I'll find it for you. I've got my whole library here of everything I've ever used.
It's the circle. I'm going to use one of the circle ones. You sent me all the circle patches, but there's a background. It's kind of like blue, and it has like little lines and stuff.
Is it like circular?
No, it's not circular. It's just like one of those backgrounds that you use for thumbnails in the channel, and like maybe I can find it. Like like on the background of all the thumbnails, that one is similar. I don't think that's the same one, but it's similar. It's not the circle one. I know it's the circle one you're talking about is. And maybe that was not the circle one, but the other one.
Okay, here I've got templates and backgrounds. Let me show you what I got here. See if any of this looks familiar. Let's see here. Let's share screen. This is my backgrounds file. You see anything there that looks familiar?
No, it's not there. I think it's the one that is like honeycomb. It looks kind of like honeycombs, like hexagons.
It's this red one I'm using as my background.
No, it's blue. It's like blue and purple, and it's got hexagons in it.
Oh crap! All right, we'll have to find that over the weekend. I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. Oh, where's the God bless button at? No, when I go full screen, the button disappears. It's gone. It's not on any of the screens. Nice. That's great. The meeting controls are no longer on my screen.
They're not over on the right?
No. I can still see you guys over on the right, but I no longer have meeting controls.
Hold on. What happens if I push request remote? What do you see anything? Didn't anything pop up?
Yeah, okay, there we go. Now I popped up and I was able to stop share. Oh, still some settling in adjustments here on this thing. It popped up way over here on this lower left screen. I don't know what the hell happened there, but that's all right. Anyway, Okay, well, we'll figure that. I'll find that background and we'll figure out where we can order. There's a lot of places to print these backgrounds and they do it in a week. So it
Oh, that's
shouldn't be,
good.
yeah, it shouldn't be a hard time. Man, I'm still hearing rumbling out there. Let's see here. I was going to show you guys. This is my, these are my gauges for the computer here that Joseph put in for me.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and you can see I'm running at 125. I got cold air blowing in there.
Dashboard of a race car.
Well, it kind of is. There's just no wheels. But
There's circles.
yeah. But anyway, yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It's running really cool. I mean, I went up and looked at like what they're supposed to run at, and 125 Fahrenheit is actually really good. I mean, it's pretty cool. Before I hooked the air up earlier today, it when I was really using it a little bit, it got up to about 142. But then since I've hooked that air up now, it won't go above 125. That's about what it's at. So I assume that's what that is. I have buttons this time. Anyway, the camera in the back, I want to tell you guys, I went ahead and just bought a $30 web camera, a cheap web camera, and I bought a 25-foot cable, and I literally ran it all the way around. So that's a hardwired camera. You can see the little light right above my head right there. That's the camera. That's this camera down here. And I hardwired it now. Anyway, I wanted to tell you guys about some things I bought for the shack. Rick, I need you to help me. I'm bringing that thing back over to solder again, that repeater.
Okay.
And when I do, I'm going to ask you to do a couple of antenna ends for me. Coax. But I bought a whole bunch of them. So if you need some, I'll give you some.
What kind of connector?
It's the UHF, the PL 239, 259, that one, yes.
Is it a crimp on?
Yeah, but you still got to solder the top.
That's fine.
Yeah.
And, I have the technology to deal with that.
Yeah, I know. There's like, I don't have the tool that cuts it right, so I have to do all the cutting with a knife, and it gets all nasty. And then
We don't do any of that.
yeah, and then soldering.
Tool strips everything off just right, and then I got the crimping and it's done.
I do better with heavy equipment than I do a soldering iron. My hands shake too bad, and anyway. But anyway, I got those. I want to do that, and then I got, this is something else I want to show you guys. I'm having issues with nothing's long enough. All my wires are too short. So I went and I bought a whole pack of these USB extension cables.
I've had that problem my whole life.
I know. Well, sometimes it's just not long enough to get where you need to go.
Can't buy an extension cable either.
And no matter how long you pull it, it doesn't get any longer. So what I did,
some people would argue with you on that one.
So where did you find?
Well, some people use equipment, they buy it. Never mind. So
we go too far.
yeah, these are what's too far? I go, you know what? Let me tell you something. I'm nastier, dirtier, and say worse things on my radio show that goes out to 80 or 90,000 people a night than I am on this TechNet. I try to keep it clean for everybody because I don't know who's in here. And
I heard that stuff on there this afternoon.
I say some nasty stuff on there. We were talking about shit on the radio today. We talked for 5 minutes about why we can't say shit. We talked about the origin, and we just called it ship. And we'd say, now, you know, when we say ship, we mean SHIT.
There you go. Now you see that.
Now
you're
here's
not
the
breaking rules
origin
now.
of ship. And we were doing it like that. It was hilarious. It was a funny segment. And some guy called in, shit's when the ships were full and the smell came out. And I'm like, okay, I never heard of that. Whatever. Okay. Okay, whatever. But no, we actually looked up, and there's a Wikipedia entry for shit. And it says the #1 use of the vernacular is for feces, but the #2 use of the vernacular is to identify one's belongings. Hey, that's my shit over there. Yeah. So there you go. That's my contribution. So, and we had that discussion today. I did buy me another coax. I haven't even opened it up yet. I get these. These are like $35. It's another. You guys ready? This is gonna surprise you.
Oh boy.
There's a big surprise on the front.
Made in China.
Oh,
Man.
I support child labor.
Oh wow, you're terrible.
support those.
Distributed in the United States.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay. If you guys don't have a Bofang somewhere at your house, stand up now. I've been buying these and they've been really good. It's a cheap, it's just a 100-foot coax. It's got the, the regular dealie on it here.
What is
And,
that, 8X.
Yeah, it's 8X.
That's fine for the HF.
100-foot RG8X.
Yeah.
And it works good. It's 100-foot. You do get some loss on the UHF. Truthfully though, all my UHF stuff's pretty close, so I'm not even worried about it. I did run this stuff 100 feet before to some UHF Yeagis, and it did not perform that well.
Yeah.
So, but if you run it to VHF Yeagis, it seems to do fine, and it works great on HF.
Yeah, it works very well. on HF.
So that's I bought that because I want to get my hex back up tomorrow. I've got it up in the yard still, and I backed over the cable and I ripped it out. Well, that happens, dude. That's why I got to get Rick to solder it back for me. But anyway,
you didn't. How'd you?
It's in my yard on a tripod, dude.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although
My
I will
back
tell
is
you
really
this,
bad.
Good
Look,
luck getting in here. I guess it's not too bad as long as we've got this construction project. This pipeline's going through here.
Well, I can just come around back and hand it through the window.
There you go. You may have to do that. I have to open a Chick-fil-A window out on McGregor or something. You go up to the speaker and say what you want, and then you pull into the next window and hand me the thing. And
Yep. Yep.
that
Well,
might
I'll tell
get
you.
y'all excited.
Well, I'm gonna tell you guys that
Tell you what.
the biggest thing I've learned in doing my own ham shack here, literally the one thing that I have to tell you that's been most important for me is got to be getting the monitors mounted properly so that they're not all over the place. I was having a problem with monitors just literally everywhere, and they were all stacked up on each other and everything else. And it was a real problem. And so I even have this in the newsletter this week. If you look in there, there's a link that'll take you right to it. But I found these brackets, they're cheap. They're $17 and they work on whatever kind of surface you have. Now, all I did was I run a 2x6, mounted it real good, put these across the front of it, mounted my screens. I measured them over so that the screens would be 1/2 inch apart. That way they can move freely past each other. Over here, I can move one monitor in and pull one monitor out and get right behind there and do whatever I got to do. I mean, it's really, they only have about maybe, it's probably not, it's about 3 inches, I guess, between where you're mounting them to and where the monitor back of the monitor is. So you add another 1/2, 3/4 of an inch for the monitor, you're still not out more than 4 inches no matter what. And if you think about it, you can go right above all your radios and everything on the wall behind your radios and mount a 2x6 on your wall. Just mount it up there, hit the stud 3 times, you're done. And then just put 4 or 5 of those up there and you can angle them all right towards you where they're all facing you. And it will look very professional and very neat and nice and tidy. So that's the big thing with me is I want it to look neat and tidy. And there's no way to do that with monitor stands. The only 3 monitors that are on stands right now that are going to remain on stands are probably these lower 3. And I'm not convinced yet that I'm not going to eventually put them on little brackets that hang down from the shelf, just because I don't, I will tell you, I don't know if you guys can see it. You see that right there? That's my 9800. I've got it stuck there right now with Velcro, but I'm thinking about mounting
I'm
it there.
seeing the TV, the mount thing, so I can't see your 9800.
Okay, the 9800 is let me just zoom in on that. It's right here.
But we still got the
Oh, is it still? I'm on share. Damn it. Sorry.
Yeah, you're still on share.
Okay. It's right here. See, it's mounted up underneath my monitor.
Yeah.
And I've got it mounted there pretty nice. I like that. I got the mic right here on the monitor. And so I like that. That's perfect. And then all my other radios are on the tree over here, and then my HF radios and stuff are over there. So I think it works out pretty good. So I'm going to leave this here. My other 9800 came in yesterday. I blew a program in it, and it's in my van right now.
Oh, cool. How's it doing?
It does fine. I listened to the guys talking this morning down on the stereo repeater down there at FUGU.
Yeah.
Isn't that what it's called? The university down there?
Yeah.
That's what it was.
FUGU. But yeah, anyway, yeah, the tower that's down there.
14682.
Yeah, I was picking that tower up like 90% quieting this morning when those guys were talking. So yeah, it's pretty good. The antenna I got's only like a quarter wave. It's just it's a nice one. It's like I spent like $45 on it, I think. But anyway, so that's the way to go. I wanted to get something simpler for an antenna. That other one was just a big mess, and I just wanted to get something that was just a little simpler.
You know, one thing I'm concerned about, you got this thing that looks like a command center. I hope you don't start launching rockets out of it.
Well, I would need the rocket part. I don't have that part yet, but I'm working on finding it. I have a guy, I put the word out. I put the word out about a month ago. I need monitors. I need old TVs. I need whatever I can find. I told both the universe and my friends that I needed this and to please help me out. Well, the universe came through, and so did my friends. I went with my mom over to Habitat for Humanity in North Fort Myers. You guys know where that's at? Little thrift. It's a big thrift store there, across from the old Willis Road fire station, right off of Old 41. We walked in there, and they've got 20 TVs back there. They're all $10-15 a piece. And
nice.
I walked out with 3 of them. I got this one here for $12. It was $22 or $24, and it was on half price because it had been there a little while. It's a 30-inch TV, and although it's got about a 2-inch back on it, it's still a great TV. This one has a little bit of a back on it too. You know, they're not the super slim ones like we get today. This one back here, it does TV, it does HDMI, it does computer. They all do all the different inputs. This one back here works great too. So I got those 2. I got another one back here that I've hooked up and tested, but I haven't needed it yet. It's going to probably end up going up there. But yeah, I mean, I've been finding what I need.
These are flat screens and not CRTs.
Well, I've got an old picture I got to find for you guys. I actually built one of these a long time ago, and it was all CRTs. And I had 12 CRTs. And the reason I had to stop and literally like not do it anymore was because I was creating more heat than the entire air conditioner in the house could handle. My walls in my room were getting warm. I mean,
you were causing global warming.
Yeah. I was burning more carbon credits than Al Gore's private jet. Because the warming's causing the cooling. But anyway, I mean, I was burning that shit up. And then I decided, no, I got to stop doing this. So we ended up setting up all my stuff over in a guy's garage where we had a studio set up. My studio setup, I'll tell you guys, my studio setup, stick a look at my bald head. My studio setup for my paranormal research show, you guys would have loved it. Okay. It was set up like a regular television studio. On the right, I had like 2 desks where my co-host and I sat, and we had like monitors wrapped all the way around both of us. And it was like a command center, like for 2. And then on the other corner of the room, and this was like a big 3-car garage. It was huge. On the other corner, and we went and bought 2 bolts of black material. Some of it's still behind me right now. Gaffing material. I still have about a half a bolt of that left. And we had black curtains all the way around the entire garage. And we had these 2 air conditioners that rolled in that had the tubing, that we had the big things that put the tubing outside. Anyway, it was a whole process. Okay. And on the one corner over here, we had a bingo table that had a black cover on it. And on there, we had 3 computers set up, 3 laptops, and we had 3 chat people that were doing chats and passing chats to us during the show. And then in the 4th side, we had 4 high bar stools where we did interviews. And we actually would go over and sit and do interviews with people. And the whole thing was filmed with an internet camera that sat on a short tripod that was on a box that we put on wheels. It was a wooden box, and we put it on wheels, and we actually had handles on it. And Bob Kelly, who became my host, he's dead now, God rest his soul. He actually was the camera guy for the first year in the studio, and he actually worked the camera. And when there would be a chat, he would back up and go over to the chat room so I could walk over and talk to them. What are the chat people saying? You know, it was a really cool show. I'd love to do something like that again, but it takes about 10 people to do something like that. It's not something, and it was very hard to keep enough dedicated people to do something like that because it's on the free, you know. Yeah, I mean, you guys help me out do this show every night, but it's a little different. It'd be different if we had to go to Rick's house and meet in his garage and set up for 5 hours before the show.
You would be cooked out there.
Well, part of setting up was the 2 air conditioners we had to set up too. Trust me, it had to be cool or you wouldn't be able to do it. I mean,
the wheel on the electric meter would be flying away like a UFO spinning so hard.
And at the time, I thought I was slick with fluorescent lighting. I went all CFL lighting in there, and it was actually nice. The temperatures were all good. I used a lot of colored lighting, as you guys can imagine, on the walls and stuff. And finally, we did it over at a buddy's house that had a big room he wasn't using, and we had a studio kind of permanently set up there for about a year, my last year. And we would sit facing the audience, and then behind us, we had 3 chatters, and then we also had a producer over here. It was really cool. It was a very neat thing that we did. And it also gave a lot of people a chance to do a little bit of TV without actually working in TV. So it was cool. Amateur TV. Definitely fun. It was a fun time in my life. And if you go to YouTube and you look up Hurricane Ian and Florida Paranormal Research, you can still find a number of my openers and some of my video clips and all. And it's kind of funny. I think I've showed you guys some of that stuff before, but anyway, yeah, it's fun stuff. This is not my first internet show. This is actually my second internet show that I've done. So, all right. So anyway, there's enough about me. All right. As far as the shack goes, I'm just going to let you guys know. I already kind of told you, but for those of you that have joined late, hey, Dallas is in. What's up, buddy? Everything from this point. Everything from this point all the way around where, if you could see where I'm doing that in the lower left, all the way around, this whole side is coming out tomorrow morning. The whole thing's coming out tomorrow morning. I'm going to pull it all out and sit it on the floor. And I take how I do this. And you guys should know this. When I first set this shed up, I had the mock version of this set up in my master bedroom, which my wife was more than thrilled to have out of there.
Your wife is a patient soul.
She's a very patient and loving soul, thank God.
With boys that come running around and show their berries and everything. But,
yeah, well, she's not happy on the midnight twig and berries. But anyway, we'll leave that for another time. But unless it's my twig and berries, of course, you know. But anyway, yeah, so I moved it out here, and what I do anytime I reset an area or my whole shack, I take a board somewhere and I'll stick a big old long 2x4, like sticking straight out, and I'll start laying every wire over that. I'll loop every wire over that piece of wood. It'll be like 7 feet off the ground or whatever. And it'll be tall enough, and I'll loop every single wire gets looped over that. And I'll start out with VGA, and HDMI and DisplayPort, and I'll work my way into power 1, power 2, power 3 for the 3 types of power cords that I have. And then I'll work my way down to audio cords, video, different kinds of cords. And the reason I do that is because if I'm going to rip it all out, I really want to start all over. I like to clean it all the way down to the desk, clean the desk, wipe and spray and clean, and then start putting it back and getting all the hardware arranged just like I want it. Then I start pulling the wires off of that wire rack in the order that I want to put them back on. And that's how I do it. That's how I have to do it. I cannot just go a little bit at a time. When I did this side a while back, I did the same thing. I ripped it all completely out and put it all back. So, and that's what I'm going to do. And that's pretty much the story of the shack.
Oh.
Anything on that? Any questions or anything else on that?
Gets better every day.
It gets better every day. It's going to be awesome. I've got a lot of time this weekend to work on it. The following weekend, I've got some client work. I'm installing a security system for a client the following weekend. So I'm only going to have about half a day on the following weekend, unfortunately. But this coming weekend, tomorrow, I'm going to be hitting it hard, and doing that. Rick, I just wanted to mention, you mentioned yesterday on the WatchNet, you're doing a contest over the weekend, a CW contest. I just wanted to mention that real quick.
Yeah.
Which one is it?
That is the North American CUSO Party, the CW section.
Okay.
They have 2 or 3 of them at different times.
Yeah, I'm double checking because there's one, believe it or not, that they had to cancel. But
Oh.
that was a European one though. That was centered in Europe. So yeah, I'm pulling that up now here so I can put it on the screen.
Cancel it. That's almost never unheard of.
Actually, this year we've had, I think, 7 different contests canceled due to the war in Ukraine.
Oh, okay. Well, that's understandable.
Which is, yeah, I mean, you get that, right? I mean, it is what it is. All right, so let me pull this up. I just want to run through this real quick. There's a couple things I want to bring to your attention. We'll get back to that in just a minute, Rick, and I'll show you those. The first thing I want to bring to your attention is Lambie Fest. Lambie Fest is coming up in Punta Gorda next weekend. Tom Lambie is a great guy. I bought my 756 Pro 2 from him, and I bought a FT100 from him, brought it home, and it had the output power was really low. I brought it back and no questions asked. He told me, he says, anytime you buy something from me, it's guaranteed. So I brought it back and he said, you want your cash? And I said, hell no, I want another radio. I'll take store credit. But he's a great guy. He'll open his garage anytime. If you send him an email, he'll give you a time you can stop by and he'll get stuff for you. He's got tower sections. He's got all kinds of stuff up there. Ooh. And I'm going to leave this for you guys.
HF, VHF, 2 towers, connectors, coax, radios, HF, VHF, UHF.
Rotators?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a couple. You can see the rotators in the picture there. That's Tom down in the lower left corner. Tom Lambie, great guy. One of the best guys I met in ham radio. So
the rotors.
Yeah, those are all the same one I've got. My rotor's like a 70s model and it's still going good.
Yeah, that's like mine.
You can't kill it.
Yeah, it's going just fine.
Yeah. So
just great.
But yeah, these pictures don't show everything. Of course, it's a big garage. It's like 2 or 3 cars or something.
Where does he get all this stuff?
He buys and sells ham stuff. He loves it. It's what he does.
Right. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, you can look him up. He's N4XJQ. But Tom's a great guy, and I just wanted to bring this to everybody's attention. I don't get a kickback or anything.
Right up there. next Saturday.
But look where it is on the map. It's not that far from here. We're down here. It's not that far. Rick's house is just below the map here.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's really not that
I'll
far.
go to
It's
go to
about
Columbus
1
one.
minute off the highway.
Yeah, and all I gotta do is just go up 41 a bit. And it's not that far.
Yep. You can even go up if you were out towards West Cape. You can go up Burnt Store and come in the back way.
Yeah.
And come back down to his property there. But either way, the 41 for most of us would be the easiest way. But that's this weekend. If you guys want to go next weekend, it's the 12th, 13th, and 14th. And it's 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. So get up there when you can.
Yeah.
I bought my old Derek Tower from him. I bought my 756 Pro 2 from him. I'm trying to think what else I bought from him. I bought several other antennas from him. Oh my goodness. There's at least one or two other things I bought from him. And my nephew was with me a couple times, and he would always give my nephew old Baofengs and stuff that were laying around. He's a great guy, dude. I'm just letting you guys know. It's worth going up and saying hi.
Probably a fun place to go, just traipse through and see if there's anything you can't live without.
Yeah, and there's a circle of chairs there too where you can hang out for a while. He likes to talk there, buddy. He's a real good guy. So I just want to put that out there. That's Lambie Fest next weekend. It's Lambie. It's his last name.
Yeah, I got that.
All right, and we are quiet in the tropics. Oh, and they came out, the National Hurricane Center, in their infinite wisdom,
Oh boy.
came out and said, we're lowering the expected number of tropical storms this year. And so everybody's like, oh, there you go. We're going to have a easy year. It's going to be an easy year. I'm going to tell you guys something that they shouldn't even announce that. Okay. Because it's ignorant.
Yeah.
All it's reflecting is we haven't had any storms during the last 5 weeks.
We've had Saharan dust.
Let me tell you guys the flip side to this coin that you'll never hear on TV. You won't even hear on the stupid Weather Channel. Okay. When there's less storm activity over the oceans get warmer.
Yeah.
By having suppressed thunderstorm activity over an extended period of time, which we've had during the El Nino cycle that we're on right now, and everything else that's coming together, plus the loop current situation in the Gulf, that we're not doing ourselves any favor here by not having storms. It'd be better if we had all kinds of convective activity out there, so that it would cool the water down, keep the water from getting so damn hot. It's like bath water out there already in the Gulf.
Yeah.
And we've got a loop current this year that's the same loop current this year that we had the year Katrina hit New Orleans.
Yeah.
So if we get one that comes up the cut around Cuba like that again, or comes over the Florida Straits south of us again, and emerges out in the southern central Gulf of Mexico before it turns north, it's going to get into that loop current. And we could see that rapid. Remember how Katrina rapidly intensified down there? And then it did lose some strength coming north. It lost a lot because it got out of the loop current. But while it was in that loop current, it went right up to category 5 overnight.
Yeah, Rita did too.
Yes, and Rita did the same thing, and it lost strength going north as well once it got further away from that loop current. So just putting that out there, just because they say we're lowering the numbers actually has no effect on what they thought was going to happen the rest of the year. It's simply just reflecting that we've had an unusually quiet July, which doesn't mean crap about August or September. The other thing you guys need to remember, and I don't have a graphic right here to show you, the peak of hurricane season is September 10th.
September 10th. Yeah.
So it's a ways away yet. We're just in the August 5th. We still have another 35 days or so, plus or minus, before we get to the peak of hurricane season. So we're now in the part where it starts to ramp up right now.
We've had 2 hurricanes over Fort Myers on September 10th.
Yes. All right. So there you go. That's that. And this is what I was just talking about. This is the August 4th update. They brought it down a couple of storms. Yeah.
Big
Again, it means nothing. It's stupid. The National Hurricane Center does a lot of stupid things because they're scientists. They're smart and they're really good guys. And they want to put out good information. But sometimes I think they go a little too far putting out information for the public because they mislead the public and not on purpose. Anyway, space weather, there's not a lot going on. The solar dynamic observatories, we're not going to be getting data for a little while because they're going to be moving some equipment around here on Earth. But I wanted to show you guys this blue Sprite. This is really cool. I'm into
real cool.
Oh,
I
love
know.
those.
I'm into Sprites. Okay. Sprites are lightning that comes out of the top of a large thunderstorm over 30,000 feet. And the lightning shoots up towards space. It's a discharge of energy into space, or at least into our ionosphere. We're not sure exactly where it's going. Okay. They're normally always red. And they normally have a lot of spider webs coming out. And they happen in the blink of an eye. They literally happen in 1/100th of a second. You have to be using a very good camera, using an extended exposure to capture sprites.
Fast as heck on that shutter button.
This guy caught a blue sprite. And they're huh? Okay, yeah, I'll take care of that. But the blue sprites are very unusual. A very wow. I mean, I don't know that I've seen one before. So I put that out in the newsletter because I just thought this was such a cool thing. If you want to read more about this, the newsletter has the full article from Space Weather, including links that will take you to more information if you're interested. You just click on the little blue link and it'll take you to whatever. Okay, because look at that. Is that cool or what?
Wow.
And a couple days ago, we had a huge prominence on the sun, and that was really cool too. All right, solar stuff this morning. It's about the same. We do have a rising solar flux right now, and the geomagnetic field is somewhat stable at 3, but could be better. I would say that over the weekend, we might see a little bit better propagation because that solar flux is continuing to rise. Although they're not really forecasting it to rise, but it is. So that's a good thing. All right. Let's see here. Terrestrial weather. Yeah. Rinse. As Matt Devitt says every day, we kid around about this. Wash, rinse, and repeat is what he always says.
Yeah.
Because doesn't it look like wash, rinse, and repeat? Wash, rinse, and repeat. Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Peter's program was called an infinite loop.
Yeah, so there's no aluminum alerts coming up other than just in the gust fronts in these storms that we get every day. The funny things, these are kind of funny. I got, I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to give you a little behind the curtains. I'm running out of memes.
Uh-oh.
I have used just about every funny amateur radio. There's some that are just ignorant, but I've used just about every one that's worth anything already. And that's it. So I'm down to maybe about 20 more, and I'm going to have to find some other source for the funny boners, I guess. I don't know, but I'll figure it out. I like this middle one here. In my spare time, I use my ham radio, look at my ham radio, research my ham radio, talk about my ham radio, think about my ham radio, and of course, I dream about my ham radio. I think we're just a bunch of obsessive compulsive bastards. I really do.
Yeah,
Anyway, all right. The world of DX is in there. If you guys want to see what exotic stations are operating, that information is every week in there. The next swap shop is August 13. It's always the second and last. I don't know why they do it that way. You got to watch that last because it'll get you.
Yeah.
Second and last Saturday of every month, which makes the next one August 13th. And so you can check that out. And of course, the ham radio events, the one the soonest one is, of course, Lambie Fest, which I already told you about. And also the Fort Pierce Ham Fest is that same weekend on Saturday.
I don't think I'll drive over there, but Lambie Fest is a different deal.
Yeah, that would be worth it. if for nothing else, just to meet some guys. I mean, that the Charlotte County, I have found the Charlotte County guys, the Cars guys, the CC Flares guys to just be the nicest bunch up there. Really good folks. And then you've got, yeah, and then everything else is later on. So there you go. In the news this week, there's a story in here about hams responding to the floods in Kentucky. And there has been some use of Aries there, which is a good thing. It's a very lightly used thing, and I like to see it being exercised. New York electronics marketer faces up to $700,000 in FCC fines. I'm glad they don't find personal people like they find businesses. Holy shit. Anyway,
some guy fined $34,000, which isn't exactly hen feed, and I forget what it was for. He was the one that was transmitting on the police frequency, and I thought he's a jackass.
Here's the difference. Okay, this business was cheating to make money.
Yeah,
that's bad, and you get fined for that. You get in big trouble for that, and they did. Okay, I get that.
particularly if you're running.
That guy was doing something even worse. He was maliciously answering fire calls, and he was responding, and he was telling planes where to go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, he should have been put under the jail. I'm a retired firefighter, you know that.
Yeah.
That is an egregious crime.
If that guy had done something that resulted in someone being killed, I would have been for sending him to the guillotine.
Luckily, I think our guys kind of knew it wasn't their dispatcher, but there was apparently several transmissions that were sent and received, and confusion, and there was issues. And so, yeah, it was bad. What would possess somebody to do that? I have the ability here to broadcast on thousands and thousands of frequencies that I'm not supposed to, but why would I?
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't figure. Did he want to hurt firefighters, or was he literally just not thinking, just doing something ignorant, thinking he was being funny? How could you be that ignorant?
Yeah.
You guys, what do you think of? I mean, my God. Anybody?
Hope he's still in jail.
I think they just fined him. I mean,
Oh,
that should have rose to the level of incarceration. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I'm not a big jail guy. I'm a libertarian, actually. You guys would probably be surprised my stance on prisons.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we over in prison in this country, but for this is malicious. This could have killed somebody.
That's like interfering with aeronautical communications. That's about
Exactly. Get on 119 and start talking the page field traffic when they're inbound. We're gonna have a problem.
Yeah.
Why did it take them 10 years to get after this New York electronics marker, though?
That's about right for government.
I mean, they sent the guy, according to the little article there, they sent the guy a lot of letters and fines and complaints.
Yeah.
They don't take hints very well, do they?
Well, I think a lot of people just figure, well, I'm gonna do what I can while I can. And I think there's other people that feel like, well, this is all bullshit. They're not really going to come down on me.
Yeah.
And face it, the FCC comes down on very few people.
Yeah.
But when they do, they come down like a freaking hammer.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's see. Amateurs in Canada, they're talking about giving them some more of the 60 meter band. Neither one of my radios will talk on 60 meters. And when I looked up the procedure for allowing me to work on 60 meters with my FT100,
Yeah, you didn't want to do it.
it scared me. Because it was like, I have to take this off, take this off, take this off, move this, unsolder this, remove that, then go in and cut jumper number 1, jumper number 3, but don't touch 2 and 4. And then after you do that, you put this back together, and then you put this back together, you put this back together, okay? Then you dance around the shack 3 times with your hands over your head. Then you come back in and you put the radio all back together again, and then you have to start keying in numbers on the front, like Like you got to hit like home, home A, home, home B. It's crazy. Okay. And then more dancing around the shack. And then I'm not going to do it. I'm afraid to do it.
Yeah.
So I care about 60 meters.
It's so restricted.
The silence is deafening.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is anybody using it?
I haven't used it because it's so restrictive. You do something wrong, and then you may wind up like our friend that talked to the police on the air. So you don't want to do that.
It's got the 60-meter band's got its place, but your radio's made it too hard to get to.
Yeah.
I think it is.
Go there, but I haven't done it.
Well, I'll eventually I'm wanting to buy a newer USB style radio eventually. But it's going to be, I get big jobs a couple times a year, hours, like 80 hours of editing, and I'll do it all up and I'll get a huge check. And when that happens, I'm able to buy things, and I want to just buy me a new HF rig. It's not that I'm never going to get rid of these two. I love these two. That's another thing we could talk about someday. Are you a seller or a keeper?
Keeper.
I'm a keeper too. I don't sell radios. I only buy them.
Even if they're broken, can't be fixed, I still keep them.
When they're broken and can't be fixed, I got a part shelf up there. I got like 4 or 5 radios up there already that are dead, Chinese radios. And many of them are all that's wrong with them is the magic smoke's not in them anymore.
Yeah. That's like I got an IC28 I picked up at swap meet last weekend. The only thing wrong with it is the volume control pod. So, and I'm having to take it apart to get it going again, but I'm working on it. It's slowly but surely coming along, but the radio works. I've had it on the air, listened with another radio, and the PL tone works, the transmitter works, everything's fine. It's just you got a bum volume control pod. So I'm going to try to get that fixed, and I've got a perfectly good 2-meter radio, vintage, about 20 or 30 years old.
There you go. And you know something, I bought one for $15 and a Yaesu M2500, and I like it. The volume knob is shot.
Yeah.
The squelch knob, I can get it to work. The volume knob only works up around 9 and 10. That's it. Only way up high, because anywhere the guy that had it before me used to put it is worn out.
Deoxit might help that.
Probably would, but here's the thing. I come out of I turn it all the way up to 10 because it does that fine. And then I went to the swap shop and I dug around and I found a little project box that somebody had put 2 potentiometers in the front of. And it has 2 headphone plugs on it. And I literally just built me a little box that goes right here. And I just turned that radio up and down with one of those potentiometers in that box now.
Works. I thought about doing something like that to this, but I think we'll try something else first.
Yep. And the neat thing about that is it has a second jack, and it allows me to jack out and go into another computer that I can now use that for APRS or whatever else. And because I have 2 separate potentiometers, I can adjust the volume going into my computer and the volume going into my speaker separately. And that works out good when you're using it for digital, because you can obviously turn it off so you don't have to listen to it.
Yeah.
That digital whine gets old pretty quick. All right, so let's move along. Let's check. The James Webb Space Telescope. Things are going pretty good. There's a great article in here. They have caught another glimpse of this star that's supposed to be like the farthest away star they've ever seen. How the hell they know, I don't know, but whatever. But this is the James Webb Telescope is a really neat project, and I find myself kind of following it now. And so from about once a month or so, I'll have another story in here. This picture to me is just beautiful. It's just it's an amazing shot. When you guys if you look at your newsletter, you'll see it in full definition. It's just absolutely an amazing shot. Okay, this weekend, there's a bunch of amateur radio events this weekend. The reason these things are marked in yellow I keep getting comments. Your amateur radio special events is out of date. No, these events all go through this weekend, or I wouldn't have them on here. So that's why I just put the yellow to remind everybody that they end after the weekend, or I wouldn't have put them on there. But anyway, there's a bunch of them this week. So I just take a look at those. There's a lot of stations you can try to call. A lot of them have specific frequencies that you can call on. So if you're looking for some, looking for voice contacts, they're hard to find. These are all good ones that would work in your logbook. This week I talk about browsers when it comes to computers. So many people are like, oh, I hate my computer. I hate my computer. And I asked them, why do you hate your computer? Well, because it's slow and because I don't like the way it does the internet and this and that. And I ask them, what browser do you use? Oh, whatever comes with Windows.
Ugh.
Okay. That's where I hit the sad tuba. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. What comes with your computer is ship. That's how you have to say it on FCC. It's ship. It's absolute bullshit.
Tautology.
Yeah. It's doo-doo caca ship. And so don't use it. Edge, they actually proved with Edge that they could actually do worse than Internet Explorer. Good job, guys. Congrats. Awesome job, guys. I'll tell you guys what I like. I liked Chrome. Chrome was a great browser. It's an awesome browser. But Chrome spies on you all the time.
Yeah.
And it's slow because it's always spying on you. And it's a cookie hog, and it's a memory hog, and it's a bitch and everything else. And the thing, I get like 50 tabs open. Chrome's bad about keeping all them tabs running at the same time in the background. And I don't have to worry about that no more. But for everybody else in the world, system resources are finite, and you don't want to use up all your resources with background tabs and shit. So you want a lighter program than Chrome. So I found Opera. It's built on the Chrome frame. Okay. And the great thing about Opera, it runs all the Chrome extensions and add-ons. Now think of the power of that. It's Chrome without Google up your ass all the time. It works. You can run, get this, you can run Google extensions that work for Chrome in this. I'm actually in this, in my Opera, I'm running the Google extension for Drive and Sheets and Docs and all these different things. But it's running in Opera. So it gives you a lot of power there. And so Opera is a great browser. I'll tell you another simple one that I like to use just to hang out, just put it on, is Brave. And I'll tell you why I like to use multiple browsers. Let me tell you guys this little secret. Okay, I got 3 or 4 clients that I work with all the time. My clients have Buzzsprout accounts for their podcasts. They have YouTube accounts. They have all these different accounts, right? And each of my client has all their own accounts that they have to, that I have to maintain for them, because that's what I do for them. I maintain all of these accounts for them. Could you imagine if every time I went to go put a new podcast up or put a new video up for one of my clients, if I had to go and look up that password and type it in? So what I do, I've got one client, all my stuff, hold on, stop. All my stuff is on Opera. That's all my stuff. Mm-hmm. I never sign into any of my client stuff on Opera. Okay. Brave is one client. Firefox is another client. And Vivaldi is another client. And when I go to those, all the hotkeys are all for my client. All the passwords are saved in there are all my clients. All the stuff it remembers is all my clients. All the tabs that reopen when I reopen the browser are the ones to do the work for my client. Do you know how easy that is? When I go to work for a client and I pull up Brave, and that whole browser is just that client and my work for that client. It's awesome. And so I suggest anybody that does that. Let's say you work from home. I would have one browser that I do all my amateur radio stuff on, and I'd have another browser that I use for work. And I would never sign into anything at work that was not work related on that browser. And that way, when you're on your work browser doing your work and all that stuff, none of your personal stuff pops up. And it's a great way to keep separation in your life by using 4 or 5 different browsers for the different things you do in your life. Let's say you're active with your church, and you're active in ham radio, and you're active at work, and you want a personal account. 4 browsers works perfect. You got everything where you want it, and nothing ever intrudes on anything else. It's just a great way to keep degrees of separation between the different things that you do, especially if you're a pimp and you're active with your local church. You would not want those 2 things in the same browser. You would definitely want to separate those in 2 different browsers.
Yeah, I don't have enough memory to keep all those things separate in my brain.
Yeah.
I can't do that.
Yeah.
The best I could do is have 2 or 3 different logins on my computer. Like, you know, most of the time I just use Dallas, but I also have authorized user and unauthorized user. There's different logins for my computer. So I can do things and then I can always use Chrome. And if I have to go out and buy 32 terabytes worth of memory, then I just have to go out and buy 32 terabytes worth of memory.
There you go. I will tell you, Opera will do everything that Chrome does for you now. And it does it better and quicker and lighter, and it doesn't spy on you. You can try it, and you can actually download Opera, and you can actually go in there and copy over all your stuff from Chrome right into it, all your shortcuts and your histories and everything else.
I'll tell you something I do with my bills and stuff. I've got a special login on one of my Linux boxes. The only thing that special login gets used for is paying bills and accessing the bank and all that. And then when I'm done with that stuff, I sign off of that and go back to my regular account, but on that machine.
And that way, if someone gets into one of your systems you use every day, they're not going to get anything that's important.
That's right.
They're going to get all my emails, my angry emails to ARRL.
Yeah.
That's all they'll get.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Whatever. I try to bring as many little jabs in as I can. All right. So let's go back here. I want to tell you guys the other one I wanted to mention to you real quick is Vivaldi.
Oh, yeah.
It actually is really a good one. I don't even know where I found this one. I saw it one day and I tried it and it works. It's a good little browser. And it's like I said, this one's not my primary browser, but it's a good browser. And then of course the old standby. Now, let me give you a little disclaimer about Firefox. It's gotten bloated.
Yeah.
Firefox has gotten to the point where it's using system resources like the shit's free. And I don't like that. When I start seeing browsers getting real heavy on system resources, I start to wonder, what the hell are you doing in there? So, but I'll tell you what I use Firefox for. There's an extension on Firefox. It's called AdBlock for YouTube, and it's for Firefox. I don't know if they have it for anything else, but I found it for Firefox. All I use Firefox for is YouTube. I have a special sign in for YouTube. It's like an anonymous sign in. It's like some name like Bob Jones or something. It's literally like a bullshit name because I don't want people seeing what I look at on YouTube. I don't want people tracking my browsing history. I don't want people tracking what I watch and everything and attaching it to my name, which is my email address.
Yeah.
So I don't watch YouTube using my sign-ins. When you watch YouTube, if you're going to be signed in when you watch YouTube, which you have to if you're going to watch anything that's flagged or anything, if you're going to sign in and watch YouTube, what I would do is create a fictitious Gmail account and then create a fictitious YouTube account, and then use that for all your YouTubing, and use that say, email address for any, like, this is pretty bad. Remember back years ago, 20 years ago, you could get almost any email you wanted because nobody had taken them all up yet, right? And I actually, for a time, and they took it from me, but I actually had an email for almost 10 years, and it was fucking shit at gmail.com.
Oh, geez.
And anytime someone ever, excuse my language, but it was what it was. Anytime someone would ask me for my email address, I would spell that out for them and walk away. It was just something funny I did because I don't want your junk mail.
Yeah.
And so it became a junk mail account, you know. And they said, "Oh, leave me your email address." And I'd write that down for them, and I would capitalize like every third letter, so it would look like other words. And then, like later on, when you're looking at it, you're like, "What's that? What?" Yeah.
I think I would use f.schhitt@gmail.com.
Well, and like I said, they took it from me. They ended up taking it in one of their sweeps where they got rid of dirty words or what, because we have to protect people from dirty words. Trey and I are convinced that if we slip a dirty word into our show, that people will run off the road and die. We're convinced, because why would it be so important to fine us tens of thousands of dollars for saying it if people aren't going to fly off the road and die? That has to be why. Why else would they do that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, has to be a good reason. No, just decency. Yeah. The government needs to get out of the decency regulating business, just like they need to get out of the sports team supporting business.
Anyway.
Yeah. Anyway. All right. This computer's still running at 125 Fahrenheit.
Wow.
That's what is that?
Pretty
Is that
good.
like 52 Celsius, I guess, or something?
Yeah,
No, it's like 145. Yeah, it's like.
Well, there's like numbers on the outside of this thing, but I guess I'm looking at the wrong thing or something. Anyway, let's finish this up. The contests we had this week. There it is. The European HF Championship is canceled this year due to war.
Ukraine.
It seems weird to say things are canceled due to war.
Yeah.
But at least we're not collecting bacon grease to make nitroglycerin. Anyway,
Just save your uranium.
Anybody?
Save your uranium.
Anyway, all right. In World War II, they used to ask people to save their bacon grease. And at the end of the week on a certain day, they would put the bacon grease out at the street in a can. And the bacon grease was collected so they could make nitroglycerin out of it to make explosives in our bombs. That was during World War II. Anyway, so we got the 1010 International. Now help me out here, Rick. Isn't that the one where you got to be a member to play?
You've got to have, what you got to do is you get on and make 10 contacts with 1010 members, and then they'll give you a 1010 number. And then I've never done it, but that's what it is. You got to kind of get yourself in the club to work it.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll allow you to get in the contest itself like that or not. You just to look it up on their website and see.
Yeah. So before you worry about the 1010, you might want to check the rules, is what I'm getting at, because I think there's some fancy rules on that one. The next one there is an FT8 contest out of Indonesia. But as crazy as it sounds, see, that's one I would go look at, because I'm looking for, I just got my Master of Asia about 2 weeks ago. And, that's cool. His background is the waterfall.
That's a terrible background.
Yeah, I know, it's horrible, but I mean, it's cool in a horrible sort of way, or it's horrible in a cool sort of way.
That's not even a very good waterfall.
It would be better if it was a current, active waterfall, constantly
go.
changing.
That'd be cool.
See, they're just giving big old frequency windows. I'm sorry, but I've gotten to the point where it's like, you know, on FT8, don't give a huge window, just give a frequency and people will get on there. And if it's too full, they'll move up a little bit. Whatever.
That ain't huge of a window.
No, 10 megahertz or whatever.
Not 10 megahertz.
Or
It's
10,
like
well,
10 kilohertz.
10 kilohertz, right? But still, that's,
Yeah,
I don't know. I guess that's not too bad. I don't know.
That's one swipe, maybe two swipes across your screen.
Yeah. I guess you would just set it for that low end of that and you would get most of it, I guess, in a sweep, wouldn't you? Anyway, so yeah, there you go. There's that one. I don't know anything about it, but that might be one if I had my antenna and everything working. That might be one I might try. Oh, I don't
You
like
can't
it.
escape.
F11.
You
Damn
can
thing.
check out anytime you want, but you can never leave.
Apparently. Anyway, so that's that. There's the MGM weekend contest. I don't know what that's all about.
What is the NRRL?
The Nazi Radio Relay League.
There you go.
There you go. This is, you got to make 10 contacts or they shoot you. Yeah, okay. And then there's the one Rick's doing, the North American QSO party. But this is only for smart people because the rest of us can't do that one because it's only CW. I'll be honest, I love CW. I think it's cool, but I can't do it. That's what kept me out of ham radio all these years.
Well, you know what I do?
Night.
I can't read it all. So
You heading out, Chris?
somebody,
No,
It's
Dallas's.
Oh, Dallas. All right. Have a good night, Dallas. We'll catch you later, buddy.
I use
All right.
FL Digi, and it does a nice job of reading CW. So, and then my if I use the TS590, it's got a reader on it too. So I'll sit there and let those run. I read a lot of it, and it gets it, and what it doesn't get, I do, and the other way around. It works pretty good. So I've been able to work CW at 25, 30, 35 words a minute doing that. But it's a booger for me to read 35 word a minute CW for any length of time. I just go, blah.
Yeah, I can only read 30 words a minute when I'm sober. Anyway, here we go. The last thing I wanted to bring up tonight was a couple of really cool items that I bought on YouTube. Or not, I bought on YouTube.
I didn't even catch that.
Amazon. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah, on Amazon, I bought a couple things. I showed you guys that pack of USB extension cables.
Yeah.
Those are really awesome. $18 for 4 of them, 10 footers or six footers. Yeah. 6 is all you really need because you're already 6 feet on most cables, 4 to 6 feet. And 6 more feet will give you 10. Now the 25 footer I bought for the camera in the back of the room.
Yeah.
That one has a little box in the middle. It's got like a little booster and it takes a little bit of USB power and it boosts the signal along.
Huh.
That's pretty cool. That was only like $12 for a 25 footer. And you know, that's pretty good for USB.
Wow, that is good.
Yeah. And then the next thing I bought was this thing right here. I bought one of these. I've got it sitting right here. Mine's black. This one's white, but this thing's really cool. It will charge up to 8 devices at a time, but it will also power lights or anything else you plug into it. And it actually will give you, there's a little screen and it will give you the amperage of each one and how it's charging. It's pretty cool.
Oh,
And-
gotta have one of those.
I'll be honest. I didn't care about all the bells and whistles. I really just wanted something that was easy, that would charge my, because I've got like 8 things that run off USB right here on my desk. This way I can, every one of them that doesn't require to be in the computer now doesn't have to take power off of my computer or that USB power supply. Now I have one just for the stuff that doesn't. And I can even show you guys, let me go to the full screen here. This is it right here.
Oh, yeah.
And you can see that I got a couple devices here, a couple of wires here. And if I plug in my phone, the light should come on. Hold on, I'm trying to get the phone to plug in here.
60 watt.
It helps if you plug the right one into the right phone. But anyway, yeah, there you go. It just came on there, and now you can't see what it says. But anyway, it's got the little battery with the little blinking lights in it, like your phone does when it's charging, and it'll show you one of those for each one that's charging. And there's no wall mount. It actually has the transformer built inside of it.
Oh,
So you've just got a standard plug on the bottom. And so yeah. And so that's just going to sit right here on my desk. And I won't have to ever need for a USB plug ever again. I like that. That's neat. And we're generally talking about a fairly small amount of money. $30, that's not bad. And then of course the last thing I had there is oh, actually I'm still sharing, is that mount, that $17 mount. I now own 7 of these, and almost everything I have is going to be hanging on one of these before it's over with. So I just wanted to bring that up. It comes with all the screws you need, including the 4. They have 3 different size screws to go into the back of your monitor, which I thought was really cool, really thoughtful. And it also comes with the anchors and screws and stuff for the back side of it too.
Then I said, here, pull my hand. He pulled it, and then I went.
All righty then.
Get away.
Party at Joseph's house.
Something going on.
All right.
Oh boy.
Pour one for me.
Nothing. Go away. Brush your teeth and get out of here. This is what I can't even. There's people in the bathroom. It's terrible.
Siblings, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
This microphone
So-
picks up everything too.
Yes, that, you know, that's why I use this shotgun mic, because it's a little more directional. You can tell when I get over here, I really go away. And so it's nice. It doesn't pick up the air conditioner near as bad. All the camera mics are really bad about picking up the air conditioner. So anyway,
Well, go ahead.
no, that's I have just now exhausted everything I had to talk about tonight. So what you got?
All right. Well, I've been busy the past couple hours. So y'all know the mobile install that I've been perpetually working on,
Yeah,
and it's still not finished. Well, I did some more work on it.
it's ham radio. It's never finished.
Yeah, but it's like
Right.
I have like no radios in the truck right now, which is very embarrassing. But
Oh,
I
it's
did
terrible.
So I'm the most difficult thing for me in a mobile install is always can y'all shut up?
Yeah, sure. We'll be quiet.
The most difficult part of a mobile install, whenever I do them, which is not very often, but occasionally, is getting the cable through the firewall. It is always such a challenge unless you just pick a random spot and start drilling and hope it's good. So if you want to do it nice, you have to find a place to go through. And some vehicles will have little grommets you can cut, or little areas, you can pop out. They have like a built-in auxiliary port or something that you can use. But that's never been my experience. I've never been lucky enough to work on a vehicle that's had that. So what I actually did was I asked one of my friends, again, friends from Miami, they know a lot of stuff. The guy who I asked used to install stereos for a living. So he knows like all the little nooks and crannies to run cables through the firewall in like every vehicle ever. So he's like, yeah, look under your dashboard. There's a little plate there you could pull off. And sure enough, there's this little circular plate that covers up. See if I can find a picture with it before I removed it. I don't think I have a picture of that. There's this little black plate, and this is a 2004 Suburban. So it's going to be the same for the Tahoe, the Silverado, everything from that era. So in there is this little circular plate that has the plastic's been like perforated, so it peels off really easy. And then you have this area where you can have access to the bare metal. And inside the engine bay, let me see if I can bring that picture up here. This is always annoying. I have to scroll through everything. Okay, so yeah, in the hole under the dash, there's also this little tiny metal bump right in the middle, which is a reference point to get to the engine bay. Hold on, if I can find the picture that I took. I guess I only have this one picture from the engine bay. I took video. The video I took is going to be put into the final video whenever I finally make that. But this is in the engine bay. There's a little box here that I had to unscrew, a little computer box, and I got these things. They're called cable glands. And what it is it screws into a hole, and it has a little seal on it, and then it has this little twist on. It's like a tapered rubber seal. So as you screw it on, the seal gets tighter and tighter. So the seal goes on, and I got a pack.
Flange.
Yeah, gland. I got a whole bunch of them that were the right size and put those in there. So now that's all waterproof, even though there's never any water gets in that area. It's still waterproof. So those two gigantic 2 AWG cables that I ran through there now have a watertight seal through the firewall through this little pocket. And you can see that's when I drilled the first hole. And that little bump is visible from in the engine bay. So it gives you a reference point that way you don't drill into the cables over here, the plastic or anything. But it was just really cool finally getting this worked out. So you can kind of see here the cables. I ran them around back behind the mechanisms for the brake pedal and gas pedal. That way they do not ever touch any moving parts. They just go behind everything. And they go off to the side. Let's see here. Yeah, that's with both the cables coming inside the vehicle. And they run underneath and they're zip tied up. You see I put zip ties here and here to keep them from moving. And then there's this little post here right in between the air conditioner vent and the, I don't know, the driver compartment. It's this little metal post that supports the dashboard, and I actually zip tied to that so the cables have another solid surface to connect to. And see there like that. So that was nice. I did that this evening, and now I have gigantic 2-gauge cable going into it from the car battery. In the mail tomorrow, I have a 150 amp fuse coming with a little fuse block, and it's got little connectors for the big cables. And I also have little adapters that screw onto the battery terminals to give you something to connect the cable to, because I didn't want to cut up the existing.
It's always smart. Wires. It's always smart to put a large fuse right at the battery.
Let me show you what
way,
I got.
If anything ever dead short, because when you're dealing with 2-gauge, 4-gauge, 6-gauge wire, if it dead shorts, you lose your car.
Yeah.
I mean, it burns up. It just.
So here's what I got. I got this thing here. This is a.
Yeah,
I got the 150 amp version, and it's got little terminals for the cables. And you just have this huge fuse in here. And yeah, like you say, if something ever happens to those cables and you get a short to ground or the wires short to each other, this will hopefully keep you from having a vehicle fire, because with huge cables like that, yeah, that's going to be bad. I mean, small cables would be bad, but those gigantic cables, man, you're going to really have a problem.
If you've got 14, 16, 18 gauge, you still may lose your vehicle, but a lot of times that will burn through or burn out before it starts everything on fire. When you're dealing with larger gauges, man, it gets so hot so quick, and there's nothing to pop, there's nothing to break, so it just
melts and burns everything. The other thing I have batteries with side post terminals on them. If they were the standard, if they were normal like posts, that would be fine. I could easily do something with posts, but I have side posts. So the solution was to get these adapters for GM vehicles. And what it does is it just replaces the stock. You can see at the top here, this is what mine looks like right now. And this goes in there and replaces it. And it gives you something to put a ring terminal on, like a really heavy duty ring terminal. So I got gigantic ring terminals for 2-gauge wire, and now that's going to go on there on either battery. And that's gonna be my power system. Inside the vehicle, I have let me see if I can find a picture of it. But I built a custom, I did show it on here one time before, but I built a custom made like DC power bus is what they call them. And that thing is really cool. It's got basically I went to the store and I bought like a 1-inch wide strip of I think it was steel, and I bought some Lexan, like that plexiglass sort of material, and I just cut a little rectangle out of Lexan, and I cut the strips of steel to about 6 inches long, and then I used bolts, and I went through over and over and over. I went through it into the Lexan. So basically I have a rectangle with 2 strips, and then they're separated by about half an inch, or no, it's more like an inch of space between them. And that way, all those little bolts that I put through it can have radio connectors screwed onto them, or ring terminals. So that's going to be pretty cool. Let me see if I can find a picture of it here. That's going to go in the radio box, and all the radios are going to screw to that. I don't think I have a picture of it. Man, that's unfortunate. Oh well. What else did I get? Oh yeah, here are the little cable glands that I got. I got a multi-pack so I can put different size wires in. And this is really cool finding this spot in the truck too, because I want to run like cameras eventually. I want to get a bunch of like cameras and run them to the front and the sides and the back and everything. So I have like views all around, you know, for when you're like, you know, when you're trying to pull up to something that's in front of your car, and it's always like hard to judge the distance between your bumper and when you're actually about to hit something. I really want to put a camera in the front of the vehicle so I can see. But these will help. I got really small ones for really small cables and really big ones for real big cables. So that's cool. And then I'm going to order, I have my cart. That's what I need to look at. These are some things I'm going to get too. So this is a gear keeper. These are super cool. What it is it's a little box with a spring-loaded piece of twine in it, essentially. And this is what like a lot of truckers will use to hang their CB mics to the roof of their truck. So you attach this to like your overhead center console or something like that, and then your microphone will hang there right next to you. So whenever you want to talk on it, like say you have your mic here, it'll just be hanging like this. And then whenever you want to talk, you just grab it and talk. Right now, whenever you have the little slots that the microphone slots into, picking it up and putting it back in the slot over and over and over is kind of hard to do while you're driving because you got to look at it. So I'm going to hang up at least one of the microphones on this thing. Probably the 2-meter call radio microphone will go on this, and then the other 2 will just go on their normal slot holders. I'm also going to get this, which is, we were talking about these a while ago, these like marine things. I found this one, which has 4
stuff
built in. So we have a cigarette, because when I install this radio console, it's actually going to cover up the 2 existing cigarette lighter ports. And I do occasionally use those for things. So this will give me at least 1 port on the face of the radio console. And it will give me 2 USB charging ports right there. I won't have to use an adapter anymore, which is really cool. I like that. And then my favorite part is it reads out the voltage on the screen. So I'll know what kind of voltage is actually getting into the radio console, and I can see if the voltage drops or something happens, you know, I can monitor the voltage. So that's super cool. And then this thing here. So one of the problems with building a radio console is you have 4 radios in a box now, and all their speakers are inside the box. Plus their speakers kind of sound bad anyway. So you're like, okay, I need to run an external speaker. Well, unless you strap like 4 separate speakers to the side of your box, it's going to be a problem. So I didn't want to strap 4 speakers on there. So I found this thing, which takes 4 inputs and combines them all into 1 output. So I should be able to hook up 4 radios to 1 speaker, hopefully. They did say that this reduces the volume of the output by like 2/3. But apparently if you take it apart and you solder in different value resistors, it will keep the default volume. So I'm excited to try this and see how it works. I asked somebody about how to do this, and they were telling me you need to like build an audio transformer with all this weird stuff I didn't understand how to do. But this thing is ready made. Already kind of looks like it's sort of almost like a nano VNA with the case on it. And it's only $25. So This is pretty cool.
I wonder if a headphone multi-plug would not work better. It's basically the same thing as that, but it's powered, and it actually provides the same amount of sound into each of the headphones. But it works the wrong way though. It's 1 in and 4 out. So I don't know if they make it the other way around.
I mean,
and the
I know
other
what you're
and the
saying.
yeah, and the other thing, what you may have to do is use something like that, and then just amplify your speaker a little bit more. But
Yeah.
here's the other thing I want to tell you. All my years in the fire department and the sheriff's department and dispatch and all the different things I've done over the years, and every company I've ever worked at that had radios, pretty much everywhere I've ever worked had radios of some kind. And there's only one good place to mount a radio speaker, and that's right behind your head on the B post. I'm just putting this out there. That's where I'm going to be mounting mine. You mount it right above the seatbelt holder, right above your left shoulder, and you mount it facing forward, and it literally goes right into the back of your head. And what's nice about that is you can differentiate the difference between radio traffic and the person you're talking to in the other seat, or the AM/FM radio. Or in my case, I had a speaker back there, and I had another speaker down in front, way up in front, so that I could tell which radio I was being talked to on. But all of our radios in every fire truck we had was mounted right behind the driver's head. And a lot of them had one mounted on the passenger side behind his head as well, because we have found over the years that that's the best place to put a mobile speaker, because it's the closest you can get to a person's ears. What else is great about it? You're in the car. Let's say you're in the car with your mom and you're going to the store. She don't want to hear that radio. But if that little speaker is behind your head, you can listen to the radio and still keep in touch with what's going on and not interrupt your conversation with whoever's sitting in the car with you. So I don't know. I'm sold on the whole right behind the head thing. But
Well, that is a really, really good idea that I had never thought of.
I may try that too, because I've got a speaker in the car for my IC208, which is under the seat. So that's
Right.
the thing up to really hear it. So that's a great idea. I could easily put that back behind my head on the just a little bitty speaker, a little Radio Shack speaker, so it would work fine. Put it right behind, next to the
I have this one. I have this little one here, but I want to get something better. I have this too.
yeah.
Wonder if they make,
Icon
like-
sells those
I
for
hate to say this,
$100.
guys, but I don't like the sound of any of those CB speakers. I'm spoiled.
Well, they're going to be
After
made to
all
sound.
those years, after all those years of using Motorola equipment, what I do now is I go to the swap shop, or Tom Lambie probably has a few, because I bought 2 from him and I bought 2 from Joe out at the swap shop. But I buy Motorola speakers. You can still find them, and you'll never find a deeper, more robust sound than you will out of a Motorola speaker.
Well, I know Motorola's are known for their really good quality radios. We've been planning out this repeater. We're gonna set up a repeater here in Huntsville. Our own Renegade repeater. You know, we're gonna be real bad on the airwaves. And this is one of the things we were looking at, is to build one of these on the cheap. You can actually take 2 Motorola old style commercial radios, which are cheap. I mean, that's $60 for a 45-watt radio, and you buy this thing called I have a tab up here. This thing, the that's the wrong thing.
Oh, you just reminded me of something.
This
You
thing,
want to take a look at repeater-builder.com.
I've checked them out,
Yeah,
and I'm
I was
probably
gonna
going to be
say.
using them a lot. But this thing here, the RC210, is like the standard for repeaters. And how you know is because here they have a sample of a synthesizer, and it's literally the voice from all the repeaters that say the time is 1 p.m. You know, all those. So this is what we're going to get, and you can do so many cool things with this controller. This is an amazing repeater controller, and it only costs it's kind of, I mean, in the grand scheme of things, when building a repeater, it's probably one of the cheapest things. It's about $250 right now.
Oh, that's not much of anything.
But
The old
the thing
RC
is super
850,
cool.
ACC RC 850 was a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, they used to be. Well, these used to be apparently back, 10 years ago. They used to be $1,000. But the thing is, these were commercial controllers.
Yeah.
But everything has sort of started going digital now. So now nobody wants these analog controllers anymore. So the price has gone way down, which is awesome for us because this is still a really good controller.
Put the repeater on.
What?
What band you gonna put the repeater on?
We're doing 2 meter.
Mhm.
We've got a frequency picked out, and we're doing 2 meter. The expensive and difficult part of this project is going to be getting duplexers because the ones we want cost about $1,200, and that's difficult to come by for a couple teenagers trying to put up a repeater. So
that's the bad problem between the duplexers and getting a site. I hope y'all have got a decent site.
we think we have a site. It's not 100% yet, but we're going to put it up at one of my friend's house. He lives in a sort of elevated area, and we're going to put a 75-foot tower on next to his building.
Yeah.
With the antenna at the top. So hopefully it'll be somewhat decent.
Yeah.
We're gonna find out because the problem is he is elevated and like compared to everything else, and he lives in a real flat area, but the actual physical location of his house is like in like a bowl almost with hills all around, and there's some gaps here and there, but we think a 75-foot tower will pretty much help. It'll help a lot with the hills, and since he's already up, he's 700 feet is his elevation. I wonder what my elevation is, but if he's at 700 feet and I am at I'm at 670 feet, so I guess he's pretty much the same height. But no, it'll be decent, and for what we can do, it's going to be the best we can get right now. So we're going to try and buy that repeater controller, and they make a cable that connects to these radios, and buy the radios, and then get the duplexer. The duplexers are the hard part, because those are, and not just any duplexer, not this. Don't buy that.
Yeah.
Don't buy that. That's for UHF anyway.
But even at UHF, something like that, you need the big can duplexers to really get a decent result.
There's the cable, by the way.
Yeah.
That's the cable for the radios. Why was I unable to find this? We found it the other day.
They got any UHF radios on there?
The Motorola's?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So you have to specify that you want VHF. Otherwise, they'll all be UHF.
Yeah. More UHF and VHF then.
Like this. These are VHF. That's UHF. That's UHF. That's VHF. VHF. UHF. UHF.
You could almost build a repeater out of something like this. Wonder if it could be converted to 220. You can hardly buy a 220 repeater anymore. The local club here has had trouble. They've got a Bridgecom repeater, which was bought last year, and it's had to go back twice for final amplifiers.
And it
Are
just
they sure it's
back.
not their antenna?
Yeah, I don't know.
No, they were not putting very high wattage into it. They were feeding it into an amplifier.
Yeah.
And it blew the finals
Still
twice.
pop the finals. I don't know. I'm not sure they're having a problem with that amplifier too.
It's back on the air now, though.
Oh, it is?
Yep.
Cool.
Actually, it sounds better. I mean, it's stronger.
I'm telling you what, I wouldn't spend $40 for one, but there was a couple there for 20 or $30 is money well spent.
Yeah.
20, so 30 with shipping, 35.
Yeah.
There's a new inbox. Oh, it's a, what is that? Oh, there we go. It's a new inbox.
That's a freaking brand new one.
For 20, for the cheapest out of them. Man, that's really good.
I don't know if you guys can see it on my, well, he's screen sharing right now, but I've actually got 4 of these speakers that you can actually see on my camera. I got a white one and 3 of the dark ones.
Yeah.
You do see the shipping cost.
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah, that's how they get
Gosh.
you on these.
That price
Yeah,
is that the
18
buy it
is
now
almost as
price?
bad as the.
Yeah, it says 2 available, 8 sold.
Yeah, but I
Apparently they've
mean,
got a couple of these.
that may
Yeah,
not be the buy it now price. That might be the somebody bid on it or something.
No,
Yeah.
it says buy it now.
Okay.
This is not a bid.
Yeah, and then you'll
I,
have
be-
to
I
pay
bet you guys can
$18
find
plus
these at
shipping for it,
Ham
too.
Fest and stuff, though. You don't have to buy them here, but
Yeah.
um, but I'm telling you guys, the superior sound you get out of one of these, even that old one there from a Mocom 70, that would still probably have some
Oh,
decent
sure.
sound come out of it.
Those are
that's
all
big.
8-ohm speakers, aren't they? Or-
Yeah.
Man, that.
Boy, that one's beat the hell and back. That came out of a fire truck that was in a flood or something.
And, you know, it's funny that all the people who I've seen that have had this style of speaker in their vehicle, it always looks beat up like this.
Yeah,
It
well,
looks
you
like it came out of
you
a
can't kill
fire.
these things. My first radio when I started as a volunteer, they said there's radios over in the closet, but nobody can get them to work. So if you want to go screw with them, you can. So I went over there and I found 4 Mocom 70s.
Oh man.
And I pulled
they
one out
Mocom?
and it had the PL tone board in it because you had to have the PL tone board or it wouldn't work. And I found all the parts and I put me together a 2-channel one. I found the crystals for TAC 1 and TAC 5. And I got it all working. I used that radio for 3 years till I bought my Meritrack for $1,000.
These things.
Low band.
Yep, there it is right there, Mocom 70. That's the transmitter that goes in the trunk.
Oh, and,
And then there's a big,
faceplate.
huge cable that comes up. There's a front piece that I don't see in those pictures. That's just the transmitter part. There's
the front?
there it is. No, go down a little further. Those are the scanner pieces that go on the top. That turns it into a scanner. It's a scanner upgrade. That's a 4-channel power head right there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. And they had already decommissioned all these out of the fire trucks when I started there. Matter of fact, the radio I had was built in 62.
Wow.
And at
Wow.
the time it was 1988. So it was 25 years old when I put it together and got it working in my truck.
Damn.
And it was an 80-watt radio. But I'm going to tell you what, I key up and the headlights would dim down in that truck. And I never had a hard time talking to any. I had a 5/8 watt spring loaded antenna that I had on a permanent mount on the roof. I drilled a hole, and I never had a problem talking to anybody.
Man, that's what's gonna happen when I'm done with my set. The headlights are gonna dim when I key down.
Yep.
Another radio that I've heard a lot of good things about from that sort of
GEs.
similar would be the Mocom Orions.
Yeah.
That was the control head for them, but these were 100-watt UHF radios. They were
Wow,
big.
that's a lot of wattage on UHF.
Yeah, that's what they
You could
came
cook
with.
a hot
which is-
dog with that.
Definitely. This is what the base looks like. There's actually 2 of those in the swap shop, probably sitting there, and Joe will let you take them home for free, probably, if you ask him, because no one's ever going to buy these. Yeah.
806 to 870. You can put that up on 900.
The problem is that you have to program them, and you got to find the cables to program it and the cable for the control heads. So that's what makes them super cheap, and nobody wants them anymore. Here's wow, look at this. For 130, a box with all the cables.
Damn.
Man, you can't beat that with a stick. That is really good. Wow.
No control heads though.
No, but you could go to get the 2 from the swap shop because they got control heads.
That's true.
That's neat. Just something to think about. But yeah, I'm gonna probably look at getting one of those Motorola speakers in because I really do want to have like the best sound. Good sounding ham radio is always a lot of fun. Like going on Simplex and you're like, wow, everybody sounds so good on Simplex because the repeaters actually really.
Some of the repeaters saw.
Yeah, some of the
Well,
repeaters make a huge hit to the audio quality.
All everybody talks about is what things look like, and I don't give a shit what it looks like. I care what it sounds like. I want it to sound good. I want it to transmit far. I want it to receive well. And if you're not going to get a large, robust sound out of a small speaker,
Oh no.
you just can't. And so those Motorola speakers are the perfect size. They got a nice big magnet with a nice big cone in them, and they deliver a deeper sound than you're ever going to get out of any of those $25, $20 CB speakers. And that's my suggestion. I told you where I'd put it too.
Yeah,
I told you what to get, and I told you where to put it.
I'm gonna do a test with the speaker I have now behind the head and see how that works out. And if that sounds good, then I'll get a Motorola and put it back there. That'd be pretty cool. Not change the subject too rapidly, but I do want to show this before we go.
Nice.
This is one prototype for the banner. I made a couple.
Ooh, that's cool.
The next
too.
one. This is the one with the green logo.
Nice.
And there's this one, the green logo, and then with the purple and pink logo. I think this one kind of has a little bit too much going on around the letters.
Well, I was going to suggest, I don't know what you're using to make these, but if you apply a black background to those letters, it will help.
Like a border?
Yeah.
Yeah, I need to try that.
A background, a shadow background would work. A border would be better.
Yeah.
Just put a black border around them and it'll make them pop over the top of the background. But yeah, those look great.
Yeah, we're gonna decide more what we're gonna do, but we got the aspect ratio right. These things are the aspect ratio for most banners is 1:3. So all I had to do is put in 1000 by 3000 pixels, and that was the business. And then I found this website. I tried Cafe Press. Let me share the screen again here. I tried Cafe Press, but they wouldn't let me change the size of the banner. They only had one size, and it was like a square. It was not right.
Okay.
So I found this website. It's called bannersonthecheap.com. Apparently, it would only cost like $30 to print this, probably $40 with shipping. But
that's it.
Print a 2x6. Yeah, 2x6 banner would be cheap if it's really that cheap. They may say, "Oh, we got all kind of fees to put on here," but we'll see what they say. But I just was trying out a couple different websites here. I just hope we can get one made before Hamfest. If it's going to take them months, who knows? It's probably going to take them like a year to make these now. Or maybe not. Who knows? Maybe not a lot of people ordering banners right now, so they'll be able to get out quick. But I just thought this was cool. You can design the banner in here too if you want, but I didn't really want to do that. I'm just making it in my editor. So we're going to try and make a banner for Hamfest. We already got a table. The table process was kind of, they asked us, they were like, "You want a table?" We were like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Okay, you have to fill out this form." And the first time we did it, they rejected us. I don't remember why they rejected us, but we did it again and they wanted all this. They're like, "What is your club? What are you affiliated with? List all your affiliations here, the ARRL, whatever, this and that." And I was like, "Well, we're not with the ARRL. We're not really with anything." And I realized, well, there's a Southwest Florida Tech team. So I juiced up that email real good with all these. I was like, "Oh, we are affiliated and sponsored by the Southwest Florida Tech Net and the Southwest Florida Tech team. And we are a branch of the Southwest Florida Tech Net. And we have, and they were like, they wanted your club to appear in some kind of publication." And I was like, "Well, we got that. We got the weekly, the weekly newsletter that goes out, and we occasionally make an appearance in the newsletter." And man, I put all kind of references to the tech team and TechNet in there.
Smart ass is coming out at me. I would have been tempted to say that you're affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party. No problem.
Unfortunately, you find this everywhere where clubs are not inviting to people that want to do their own thing or change anything in their own thing. Yeah. And unfortunately, it's the same thing here. You've got a club running this thing and you've got another club trying to get in. That's hence why I go 9 months and don't ever get a call back from ARRL about my club joining. Right. Yeah. And so I decided I wasn't joining ARRL. They don't want me. I don't want them. Yeah, I think the biggest problem amateur radio has right now is that we're stuck in a box. And that's why Joseph and I think both are, and all of us here are trying to get outside that box.
Yep. But
they've let you guys in though. That's a good thing.
Yeah.
And if there's anything I can do to help, let me know. I'll put a big article in the next newspaper, in the next newsletter if I need to, whatever I need to do.
You guys got a website set up. I thought I saw that.
Yeah, we do. North Alabama Tech.team is the website. Yeah. yeah, I was like, oh, they were like, you got to have a website, you got to have affiliation with the ARRL, you got to have appear in someone else's publication. I was like, how do you get into someone else's publication? But you see, you'd have to know somebody personally. Anyway, so having this whole TechNet thing here,
I can't believe they would make you be a member of ARRL, considering only 1 in 1,000 ham radio operators are a member of the ARRL.
oh man, you're gonna so one of my friends spoke to the ARRL section coordinator for my
Well, that's
for
more than
Alabama.
I was ever able to do.
I spoke to the guy on the phone, but the first thing, so I already decided I was never going to buy an ARRL membership after hearing from your experiences and just investigating and looking what they actually provided. I don't want to give them my money. So I'm like, all right, I'm not joining the ARRL. But then my friend contacts me and he's like, hey, this guy, I know you're interested in doing stuff for radio. Do you want to possibly look at being the youth coordinator for Alabama? And I was like, all right. So they give me in touch with this guy, and his email signature, I'm going to pull up his QRZ page so you can see here.
Oh,
His
yeah, you told me about it.
Oh, man, this guy.
Oh, my God.
His, let me pull it up here. His email signature, like, I'm looking, just to check this guy out, see what he's like, see if I'm going to get along with him or not, and the first thing I see is his call sign is Kilo 4 UDU, Uniform Delta Uniform. Let me pull this up here. This guy, and the funny thing is like, I told him on the email before we spoke on the phone, I was like, yeah, we might not get along. So here's his call. Here's this thing. He apparently uses his QRZ page to like send information to people who don't use email or something. That's what he says here. To reach out to the hams that do not use social media to learn about what the ARRL is doing in the state. I don't know how this would be helpful, but anyway.
So if you don't use a computer for one thing, maybe you'll use a computer for something else.
I know, I don't get it, but okay, whatever. So we go down here, we scroll down to the bottom. Where is it? Hold on, I saw it. He has a quote in here that just made me like explode. Really? It's not here? Oh, wait. Hold on.
No, it's above that. It's right
here
above
it
the dotted
is.
line. Yeah, there it is.
There it is. In the immortal words of JFK, ask not what the ARRL can do for you, but what you can do for the ARRL. And I was like, are you kidding me?
Well, the ARRL made it perfectly clear they were doing nothing for me. So.
What is this? Like,
I don't know what's worse, the fact that they invoked JFK or the fact that the whole thing's crap.
I mean, I couldn't believe this. And I told him on the email, I was like, listen, I've not had a good experience. We haven't had good experiences with the ARRL. I don't want to join it. And then he said something about like joining just to do your part or something like that. He was...
Well, that's what everybody, honest to God, that's what everybody says. I know the ARRL isn't perfect. I know they have their problems. Well, that's what people say about the federal government too. I know they have their problems, but I'm just supporting ham radio. And I want to support ham radio. And that's the big group. And so I send them $50 a year for nothing. And I'm like, what did they do for you? Oh, they go up and they fight for legislation. I'm like, really? Really?
This is what he said. He says, I told him I'm not going to buy ARRL membership. He says, as to the ARRL problematic history, I agree. However, I can state without a doubt that since the Vietnam War, there has been one or more Washington, D.C. administrations that we have not agreed with, yet we haven't given up our citizenship or right to vote. So he's comparing not joining the ARRL to saying, oh, well, I'm just going to leave America because I don't like X, Y, and Z. That's what he's comparing the ARRL.
That's kind of crazy, dude. Really. I
Maybe
mean,
it should be a de-expedition to North Korea.
So in other words, so if I don't like that a certain president got elected, I should move to Canada. And that is related, and that's related somehow to, I don't want to give ARRL $50 of my money when they do nothing for us. when they won't even call us back when we want to join our club to their club. And then when I did finally receive an email, and it gave me a link to the packet. Have you guys ever looked at the packet to join as a club to the
No.
ARRL? Oh my God. If you can find it, I don't know if you can find it real quick. You have to do declarations that are approved by your board. You have to meet all these requirements. You have to fill out this and send in synopsis explaining that. And I was like, oh my God. Yes, 51% of your voting membership must be full or associate ARRL members.
They must be licensed amateurs. You must have a club constitution, and your club's goals must not conflict in any way with the goals of the ARRL. I mean, that was probably not going to happen, but.
Oh, yeah. Unreal.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if this is going to get into the things you have to do.
What is this talking about?
Do they have regular meetings?
Telling you how to run your club?
Yeah, oh yeah. The ARL is good about telling you how it's supposed to be.
Oh, maintaining interest.
Yeah, what I'm talking about, what he sent me was all the paperwork that was necessary. And there was like a 5-page application you have to fill out, and then you have to list all your members that are ARL members and this and that, and you have to list all this, list all that. But then you have to do like a declaration on the board, on your board of directors. You have to do a declaration that this is what you're going to do, and that we swear and affirm that we're going to follow all the rules of the ARRL, and we're going to do everything that the SS says. I don't know. It's kind of it's kind of crazy. But I did look at it, and I thought, well, the fact that they never would call me back, coupled with the fact that the application process is ignorant. In fact, my club doesn't even qualify, because even if I take the 10 or 15 people or 20, I think about 20 people that have applied for our club at this point, and we got together and started having meetings right now, we still would not meet all their requirements. So, and you know what you get for club membership?
What, a liability insurance or something?
You getting all this? I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Oh, crickets.
The only thing
they do have a fairly inexpensive insurance program for your radios. Okay, I'll tell you that. And
they have ARRL insurance adjusters that come out to your place.
well, at least I've been a ham radio guy for 2 years. I've been to ham fests. I've been to swap shops. I've been to meetings at 2 different groups. I've been to 3 field day events. And I've never met anybody that's an ARRL representative. And I can't get one on the phone. So I don't know where these people are. They must work in, like, maybe they're in a cloud city.
Yeah, it's a little bit different here in Huntsville because everybody knows everybody. So if I want to get in touch with anybody, I can just ask, and everybody will, like 5 people will have the right answer. That's the difference about here in Huntsville. Everybody knows everybody. So that's not as much of a problem, but them being helpful is another thing.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know. I never could get my task book signed off. I still have my task book, and it's still
not signed off.
I took every one of those classes. I took 14 FEMA classes. I took 2 ARRL classes, the 1 and the 16. I took the Skywarn classes and got my certification in that. I'm listed on Skywarn. I did all of that stuff. And in 8 months, I never could get anyone. They would never sign off on my book. I don't know what's the deal with that. Why don't there's just look, what ham radio needs is new ideas. new fresh things going on. And ARRL's not doing any of that. I'm sorry, they're just not.
And you know what? The
They haven't
stuff
come
that
up with a new idea since the 80s.
so I was on the phone with the guy. Is like, what would being the youth section coordinator, exactly entail? And he listed all this stuff that I know is not going to work. They want me to go to Tennessee and take a training course on how to teach a technical class, and they want me to get in touch with schools and present this class to uninterested kids about how ham radio integrates into stuff like that. And it's just stuff that is not going to do us any good. I know, because I know what people my age are like, and these people have no clue.
Yeah, that's the problem. Recruiting new people.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
can't
man,
recruit new people.
That's their problem, is that all the younger people that are getting in are not joining ARRL. They're not. And they see that their numbers, the number of amateur radio operators is going up very slightly every year. The number of ARRL members is going down. Yep. And it's a shame, but it's because it's no different than Kodak or Polaroid or any of the other big names that we grew up with that are not around anymore because they failed to innovate. Or ones like Radio Shack that they innovated, they just didn't go in the right direction. There's a lot of corporations that are gone now that we had for years because they failed to innovate. And if you fail to innovate, you fail. And they have failed to innovate. They have not changed any. They're still sending out a printed magazine.
I mean, I kind of think getting the printed magazine, it's not worth the money. But
no,
but it is. I mean, everything's digital now. It would be kind of cool to get something in the mail for ham radio, but still, it's not worth. It's not done in the right way.
I paid $50 the first year, and I got 6 magazines. Okay, on the air magazine, I got 6 magazines, and I ordered a ARRL pin and an Aries pin, and it took them 2 months to send me those pins.
Golly.
I ordered message pads, and it took them 3 months to get me message pads. They said they literally told me in an email, which was, by the way, the only emails that were ever returned by ARRL were returned by their business office regarding purchases I had made. That's the only thing they'll respond to, is people that are pissed because they didn't get their purchases or whatever. And I told them, I said, you guys need to see how Amazon does this. You know what I'm saying? This should be done like Amazon. You order it should go out the next day.
You can buy a lot of ARRL stuff on Amazon.
Yeah,
you want to get a handbook or something like that, you get it cheaper on there than you can buying it direct from the league.
And by the time I got those pins in, I had already gotten cold to the ARRL, so I threw them in my pin box. I never even wore them.
Yeah, but they wanted for the youth thing. Everything you described, I knew was not gonna. It's just gonna be a massive waste of time. So I don't think.
And here's the thing: if you go to them and say, "Look, I am a youth, okay, and I know what's gonna work, and I want to try something new," they'll stop you right there. They're not interested from that point forward.
Yep.
No, this is how we've been doing it ever since Marconi and the Spark Gap radio. I mean, it's literally that's the old thinking. It's always old thinking, and it's like old thinking is not getting us anywhere.
No,
we've got to get going and speaking at colleges and the schools. That's not going to do it. We have to find another way. Okay. And am I saying we shouldn't go speak if we can? No, if we can, I'll speak every day if I could get a class that would listen. Okay. And I would love to give a speech on ham radio. All right. I spoke for 22 minutes one night on our radio show about ham radio.
Yeah.
And I thought it was great. I mean, I love talking about ham radio. I get really excited and really motivated. And I next thing you know, I'll have you walking on hot coals and calling CQ. But I mean, I can motivate, man. I'm telling you, I love it. but I don't know if that's the best use of time. What gets me is things like social media
Yeah.
and visual media, YouTube, things like that. They don't even use it. That's
Yeah, because they don't know how.
Because they hate the internet. Because the internet's what's ruined ham radio. No, the internet's what brought ham radio into every shack. You no longer have to own stacks of magazines so that you can go back and find how to build a Yagi. You know, you no longer have to, you don't no longer have all the restrictions you used to have. Now, anything you need is right there. Any program you need, you can download. Any information you need, you can find. The internet has done nothing but good for ham radio.
You can even operate a station remotely through the internet. And that's
Mhm.
Yeah. And yet the old timers hate it. And, you know, I haven't done a lot with social media because nobody in ham radio does much with social media. But that's the problem. The people we need to get a hold of are on social media, and not necessarily on Facebook either. That's another thing. When we talk social media,
Yeah, not just
we talk Facebook. You know, Facebook is 40-year-old book, by the way. I was told the other day, I was telling somebody about, I'm on Facebook, and they're like, oh, you're on 40-year-old book? Facebook's for old people now. All right. Facebook is for you, Joseph. Facebook's where your mama has a page. I mean, it's literally like for people my age. That's Facebook. Twitter is turning into more of a political thing. It's turning into more of a polarized political hot mess.
Yeah.
with thought.
And we got to get on social media that I don't even know the name of yet because I'm not doing it. So if I was going to bring you in as a youth coordinator, I would not bring you in and tell you what you're going to do. I'd bring you in and ask you how you're going to get the job done.
Mm-hmm.
And let you do it. Because what they've been doing up till now is not working anymore.
No, it's not working at all. And I don't know. I've talked to the guy some, and he put me in touch with somebody else who I haven't contacted yet. But I'm going to tell him, like, I'd love to have the title of youth coordinator, but you got to let me do my own thing. I mean, we have ideas, the repeaters thing, the club thing we're starting. I think that's going to do pretty well. We're going to definitely be heavy on, making sure we have a good website. We have a YouTube channel. We have Broadcastify stream. We're going to have all the connections there to make it be, interactable online.
Doesn't it bug you at all that they want you to pay $50 to volunteer for them?
Yeah. Well, apparently it's the same.
Don't you think people that volunteer for there maybe shouldn't only pay $25 or none?
Yeah, I don't even qualify for the youth discount anymore.
I know. That's what I'm trying to get at. It's like, look, maybe one of the problems with the ARRL, everybody just pays their money. I'm telling you that people should be able to volunteer for the ARRL, do a job for them, and not have to pay that $50. $50 is a lot of money. Sometimes $50 is a lot of money for my wife and I. Other times, like I just got paid for a big job, probably could handle $50 right now if I needed to. But that's a lot of money. I personally, if I suddenly became in charge of ARRL right now, I would embrace it. I would love it like it was my own. But there's some immediate changes I would make. The printed publication would end immediately. It would end immediately, and instantly memberships would be reduced to $20 or $25. The printed publication is literally 50% of what you spend your money on. And most people that get them don't even read them because we all read screens now. I don't read paper. I have a tablet in my bathroom. Okay. Nobody reads paper anymore. Okay. I check my mail once a week because nothing comes in the mail that I care about anymore.
Mostly junk.
It's just shit. I normally go out and take it out of that box and put it in the round thing on the way into the house.
Put it in a recycle.
Yeah. Because so I guess what I'm trying to say is the first thing I would do is drag them kicking and screaming into the 90s. And get rid of that printed publication, both of them. There's actually several of them. Get rid of that. Get rid of all that stuff. People don't read that anymore. You need to put out things like I put out every week.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but if you look at what I cannot believe what I put out every week is not caught on like wildfire. All I can say is the amateur radio is a tough crowd. And when you got a local club in town that's shit talking you all over the place, that doesn't help either. But it's difficult to get any traction at all in ham radio. And I can't believe more people would not want to read my newsletter.
I mean, how many people do you have signed up? I think you have a lot.
Oh, it's with the few, I've got a few people to put it out to others and stuff. It's probably getting a reach of about 200 people.
That's really good for an amateur thing like this. I don't know. I think you're too a little bit pessimistic here. I think that is really good.
It's not bad. I've gotten a few new ones this last week, a few week before.
I mean,
I'm picking up 2 or 3 subscriptions a day. But you know, you want to hear what's funny? I've got 10 or 15 ARRL email addresses that no longer can be found, which tells me that all these KO numbers that gave me their ARRL addresses have already not paid their second year, just like I didn't pay my second year. Do you know that 75% of first year ARRL members never sign up for their second year? They never pay for the second year.
I wonder why.
And I wonder why. Yeah.
That's really interesting that that you got that. But still, you got to realize this, for something like what we're doing, there's a lot of competition. Everything online now is a huge competition for your attention. So I think the fact that we have about 200 people total in the list is kind of amazing in itself. I mean, it's a great newsletter. That's a lot of people, I think. I think you're a little bit underselling how good you've done there.
Well, no, and I'm going to keep doing it. I'm happy with it. I think it will continue to, like I said, I get 2 or 3 new subscribers a week, which will end up being another 150 or so at the end of the year. But I don't know. I just figured it would pick up better than that, because there is no weekly publication in ham radio. With a few exceptions, there's Amateur Radio Newsline, which is where I get my news. That's linked every week in my newsletter. And there's a few, like, you know, spaceweather.com, where I get that information and stuff is put out every day. But most ham radio stuff, there is no regular publishing date. It just goes out, or it goes out once a month. What I'm putting out is timely. It's for this weekend. When you pull that newsletter up, it's everything that's going on in ham radio this weekend. You know, it's basically the guide to get you into that radio this weekend. Every weekend. There's always a new project to try, a new program to download, you know, something going on with space, something going on with weather, something going on with radios. I try to make that really cool. And I think it's doing all right.
It's doing good.
I do get a lot of positive feedback, and I've never gotten really any negative feedback. I did get one message from a guy that just says, this newsletter is a big waste of time.
Okay.
And I wrote back, thank you for taking the time to write this response.
There you go.
That's as smart ass as I could be in deadpan. Since I wasted your time, thanks for taking more of that wasted time to write me this email back.
Sorry for me to remove you.
Yeah.
Still, only
Anyway.
one negative feedback over.
Yeah, I don't get, I haven't gotten much negative feedback really. And, the positive feedback I get's pretty good. So I actually have people that read it every week. I have several people on several nets that actually refer to things in my newsletter every week. So I know people read it.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
that's so cool, man. Hearing somebody talk about your newsletter.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. It's good information in there. And you know what else I think? I don't mean to sound conceited, but if you, like, let's say you had a new ham that started and he's really into it, he could go back 6 months and start pulling up our newsletters and just scrolling through them and doing all the little projects and all the little programs and all the little apps and all the little things we talk about in there. And by the time he got caught up on those emails, he'd be a great ham. He'd know everything. He'd already have everything working and everything would be great, because there's so much good information in there. Every single week, there's all those different things,
Yeah.
Anyway, I take sections out. Like I used to have a section called Radio Mysteries. How many of those is there, dude? Because I couldn't find any more.
Most mysterious sound
Yeah,
ever recorded
I
on
mean-
ham radio.
Yeah, there's only so many like mysterious sounds that we couldn't find. There was that, my favorite one was that traffic report that would come on at 48 minutes past the hour on this AM channel. It would just sit there dead air. And at 58 minutes, it would go, there's traffic backed up on the JFK bridge. Please take an alternate route. And that's all it would say. And it did it for like years. And it was some little translator, an AM translator that was on like a light bulb wattage. And they set it up one day for a visit by the president that was coming to that town, whatever it was. And they never unplugged it. It sat there in the corner running for like 10 years with that same traffic report running on it. And it ran like once an hour. So stuff like that was cool for mysteries. And someone finally wrote a letter to the department that did it that city, and said, why is this thing doing this? And he never got a response back, but 2 days later it disappeared off the air. So message received, I guess.
I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks for
so-
confirming.
But yeah, I used to love that section, but I ran out of stuff to put in that, just like the funny boners. I never thought I'd run out of funny memes, but I gotta
Nobody
tell you
makes
guys,
memes for ham radio.
that's the problem, is when you get into something that's heavy graphics or heavy into computers and stuff, you tend to not find that many ham radio people into it. It's kind of a rough thing. But
Yeah.
anyway, oh man, what a night. Oh, hey Sean, you made it. What's up, buddy? And yeah, I'm doing good, man. Doing good, man. Just hanging in there. We've been talking. You were talking about shacks tonight, man. We're talking about, and then we got into a little discussion about ARRL, which kind of took the mood down a little bit, but that's all right. But no, we were talking about shacks tonight. I'm still working. You can see behind me here. This whole side's getting ripped out tomorrow and all put back. And it'll look really nice and neat like this side does when I get done with it. And then we're going to be all set for storm season. I'm telling you guys, don't let this light season fool you. We might see the big season coming out after that. And one other thing I want to mention, you guys, Wink TV. This is an interesting little tidbit. Wink TV yesterday, changed the colors of their radar.
Yeah.
And rain is now blue instead of green, and I hate it.
What?
I hate it.
Why?
Yeah. So when Matt walked in today, I'm like, hey, Matt, yeah, I kept pulling up the Wink radar and I kept running outside because I was supposed to be ice. And there was never any ice. I was very disappointed. And he goes, I know, I hate it. It's terrible. He goes, I don't know why they did that.
Harebrained decision.
I don't know. If people come, look, 99% of the people down here come from up north, right? Except for me. Okay, so I figure all these people that come down from up north are not going to like the fact that their radar looks like there's ice and snow everywhere.
They get some lot to run some of them off.
Yeah. I don't think they changed it on their website. I think it's just the one you see on TV. But hey, I'm going to check it. Let's just check it and see.
Let's see what it does.
Wink TV, the news station. All right, here we go.
Weather Authority.
Yes. I am the weather authority. Excuse you guys, I'm going home. Nope.
3 times more powerful, but we don't know more than
No.
one.
No, this is the same green as always. But yeah, that new radar, it's blue now. And I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yes.
So if you see ice coming from if you're on Wink and you see an ice storm coming for Bonita Springs, you're probably okay.
Sounds like some bad politics. Somebody should decide.
Well, I actually know the internal politics, and I'm not going to get into any of that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to mention the external part. What the hell's up with that blue rain? Anyway, that's all I'm going to say. That's all I got to say about that. I'm going to leave that right there.
Brown bullshit tornado.
I don't. Why would you do that? I don't understand. Anyway, all right.
Every radar system ever, all of them have always been the same color scheme. Why mess it up?
Well, you can't say that anymore, I guess.
Blue rain.
I don't know. All right, I'm trying to think if there was anything else I had tonight, guys.
Somebody's been doing too much fentanyl over there.
Oh my Lord. You know, I one of my favorite websites, I'll show you guys. And it's cheesy, but I love it. It's I actually like the Coast to Coast AM website. They always have the coolest stories on here. And it goes along with the show that's on in the middle of the night, but a lot of us can't stay up till the middle of the night to listen to the show. But
I've never been a big George Norrie fan.
Oh, I love George. I was a big Art Bell fan. Huge Art Bell.
I wasn't,
but I like George Norrie.
Yeah,
I think he does fine.
I was really into Art Bell myself.
Well, when George started filling in for Art, I thought he was okay. But then when he ended up with the job, I was like kind of pissed. Because I really was an Art Bell guy. Yeah. It's kind of like the same feeling I got during the first season of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Who are these new people? They suck. But then it got good after a while. And that's kind of how I am with George. He's the guy now. I got to interview him on the air about 5 years ago on the morning show. The program director at the time, as a surprise to me, set up the interview, told me that morning I got an interview with a big paranormal guy, and I'm not telling you who. Because, you know, I used to run a ghost hunting crew. I'm big into paranormal stuff. I did a little show online for 4 years. I did 206 episodes. He comes on the air and he goes, "It's George Norrie." And I'm like, oh my God, I'm interviewing George Norrie. I didn't even know I was interviewing him. And it ended up being a great interview. He stayed on with us for like 15 minutes. And he's just such a great guy. But no, I understand. Art was the man, dude. Art was the guy. Broadcasting live from the high desert.
Yes.
In Pahrump, Nevada.
And he talked about ham radio on his show too.
Big ham guy, big hamster. Yeah. Oh yeah. He loved it.
Broadcasting live.
There's the chupacabra.
Yeah, yeah, the chupacabra. I love the shows. I love the paranormal. And what's fun about the paranormal is whether you believe or not, it's still entertaining as hell. So
you either have two sides of the story. You have, oh, this is interesting. I wonder what's going on here. And then you have laughing at these people.
Well, truthfully, you have three types of humans. I learned this doing paranormal. You have three types of humans. Okay. You have believers, you have open minders, and you've got debunkers. Okay. Your believers, they're going to believe anything. Every flash and light is a UFO. Every little piece of dust caught on an IR camera is a ghost of their dead mother. And believers, you got to always beat them down with, no, let's empirically look at this scientifically. Let's use a control. Let's do this right. You have to beat them down with a stick. Okay. They're great guys, great people, but you got to beat them down because they're always wrong. They're always trying to make everything a damn ghost. Then you got the ones in the middle, the open minders. That's what I am. I'm an open minder. Okay. I'm open-minded on everything. But after a while, you just have to admit that George Bush didn't plant dynamite in the World Trade Center. And we did go to the moon. Not all conspiracy theories are true. And you have to keep an open mind, and you have to investigate which ones are true and which ones aren't. Do we know what really happened to JFK? I don't think so. No. So, I mean, there's a lot of really cool conspiracies out there, and a lot of them are true and a lot of them are not. Same thing with ghosts. Ghosts are real, but most sightings of ghosts are not. Most ghosts are real, but most photographs of ghosts are bullshit. Okay. And you have to know that going into it. I'm an open minder. I'm the type of person you want to talk to about this kind of stuff, because I'm not going to try to convince you they're all ghosts. And I'm not going to try to convince you that all these people are crazy. You got your debunkers over here. No matter what I show you, I could show you a full-bodied apparition of your mother that talks to you about things that no one else would know. And he will walk out of that room and turn and look at you and say, I don't know how y'all did that, but that was pretty good. No matter what, no matter what, aliens can land, he can get a tour of the ship. Okay. They can take him up, take him to warp. Okay. And they can take him to another planet and bring him back and sit him down. And he'll walk out of that room and he'll go, man, the effects nowadays are just great. No matter what he sees or does, he's not going to believe it. He's one of those. Okay. Don't be one of those. Yeah. And don't be one of those people that fall for everything either. Be the open-minded guy in the middle. And that's what I always used to tell my paranormal people was be the guy in the middle. Be the guy that's willing to say it's bullshit. Yeah. And also be the guy that's willing to say, I believe that.
I think there's something to this.
Yes, exactly.
I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
That's right. That's right. I'm mad as hell.
What movie was that?
I don't know. I don't know. That's one of those statements like we always do that. My host, you ever seen that clip of Bill O'Reilly where he's yelling because it was like 2 minutes to air and he's trying to shoot this little piece and he gets all mad and he's like, F it, do it live, I don't give a shit. He's throwing things around his desk. So now anytime something happens at work, my host just goes, F it, do it live, and he starts throwing stuff around. It's just a joke that we have because of this clip from like 20 years ago from Bill O'Reilly. I love stuff like that. But anyway, just be the guy with the open mind. That's all I'm asking. You don't have to believe. But if you automatically disbelieve, then what you think is no better than anybody else. I mean, it really isn't. An open-minded person will investigate, make up his own mind. And the only way you can truly be open-minded is if you go into the investigation or the discussion with the possibility that either one is true, that either it's crap or it's real. If you can't see yourself leaving the situation knowing one or either one of those existences, then you're not open-minded. There's people that tell me we have a guy that calls the show, not Flat Earth Dave, another guy. He calls the show and he insists we are the only life in the universe. We're the only sentient life in the universe. Now, we already know that there's 1 million stars, and we already know that there's 1 billion more past that we can't see yet. We just got a new telescope. They pointed at a spot in space where we thought it was blank, and guess what? Another universe.
There's a whole
no matter where we look, there's another universe. It goes on forever. It's infinite. Space is infinite. It goes on forever, ever. So what we're trying to say is we've got something that's bigger than everything ever. It's infinitely big. And this one rock spawned sentient life made of one compound, carbon. And of all the life forms that were spawned, only one of them became sentient. Is that what we're really saying? That of all the universe, only life spun up on one planet? And of all that life that spun up, only one species was sentient? There's no way. There's no way. I'm telling you guys, there's no way. It's just like this is no way that this is the first time technology is spun up on Earth. I believe it's more like the 5th or 6th time that technology is spun up on Earth. Why is there conduits through pyramids? To run wires through. I'm telling you, those pyramids were either communications device or they were power harnessing. They were doing something technological, okay? There's so many more things on this Earth that we don't understand. And to be open-minded, all you have to do is say that I can believe this. I can believe that this is true. And then you work from there. But a lot of people are just closed-minded. They don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear anything about it. They don't want to hear that There's thousands of hieroglyphs that show humans wearing space masks. They don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about that. They don't want to hear about hieroglyphs that show fleets of spaceships flying over the top of pyramids. This stuff exists. We have it. But a debunker would just tell you, oh, it's just birds. Whatever. It's just whatever. It's whatever it needs to be to not be what you think it is. You know.
That's just like you hear in the media today. Anything that happens, oh, that's due to climate change. How the hell do they know?
That's the thing. Everybody just jumps to this conclusion because if your climate change is like any other religion, climate change is a religion, just like Christianity, just like sadism. They're all religions. There's all these religions out here. Climate change is one of them. If you disagree with what they say about climate change, then you're a heretic.
Yeah.
You're a heretic. That's how we feel about things. Those people are closed-minded. When they tell you it's global warming and I don't want to discuss it anymore, that's closed-minded.
Yeah.
You were told something by somebody and now you believe it over anything else that's ever presented to you for the rest of your life. That's closed-mindedness. And I have a real hard time with closed-minded people. It's almost like I can even forgive you for being a lefty, but I have a real hard time making friends out of closed-minded people.
Yeah.
I have a real hard time being close friends with a guy that's, I don't believe in ghosts. I don't believe in UFOs. I don't believe in any non-corporeal intelligences at all. And I believe that we're alone in the universe. And I believe that there is no such thing as supernatural or paranormal. Okay. Have a good day. I'll see you later.
Get out,
I'm out. I'm out. You ain't looking for me as a friend. You don't have to believe. You just have to be willing to look at it and decide it and consider it before you say no. That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
Open mind. Anyway, there you go. There's my speech on being open-minded. I just have a real problem with folks that just have just this closed-ass mind. They don't care about nothing. I mean,
some people live in their own little worlds, and that's all they want.
Yeah.
To say.
Well, and I find a lot of that in amateur radio. These are science types. Amateur radio folks are technical types. 2 + 2 = 4. Voltage by times resistance is whatever. That's science, and I understand that. It's the ability to be willing to say that a process that we don't understand could also be science.
Mhm.
That's the leap you have to make, is that science is science, and things that we don't know are science yet could also be science. We don't know yet. So it's like the existence of ghosts. There is so much evidence that there's ghosts. That there is literally, whether they're dead loved ones, I don't know, because the evidence isn't as strong in that area. The evidence is that there is an intelligence, a non-corporeal, actual repeating intelligence that exists on this earth that's not us. We can prove that just about at this point, okay? We know there's some kind of intelligence out there. But we're lost in this quagmire of all these people on this side that don't want to hear it, never will believe it. And all these people on this side that are producing miles and miles and miles of shit evidence that's really not good. And it just ends up confusing the whole situation. Yeah. I told my guys, I said, I told my guys, I don't want to ever see another orb picture in my life. If I see another picture of a dark room and an orb, and you're using the flash on the camera, I don't want to ever see that shit again. I told him, I said, it's not ghost. That's not ghost. And it's not that I'm not open-minded. I've investigated it. That's not ghost. Okay. So I devised a way to debunk it. Okay. I took the 2 cameras that were going in there and I put a dark ruby red filter, a light filter over the one. and I put a dark blue filter over the other flash, just the flash, not the lens, the flash. So the lens was seeing full spectrum. The flash was flashing in only one primary color. Okay. We took the pictures. The guys went in, they took pictures. They came back. Oh my God, I got orbs. Oh my God, I got orbs. Yeah, all your orbs are red. Your flash was red. If that was a energy discharge from an intelligence, it would have been a color other than red, or it would have included red in other colors. It would have been white. So that sounds like Collier County fire dispatch, if I had to guess.
Almost sounds like a robot.
It is. They have automated dispatch down there. It's terrible. It's terrible. It comes on engine 5, engine 7, engine 9, structure fire. It's pretty bad. It's terrible. How it's stupid because like engine 7, broken leg.
That's almost like the NOAA weather radio. You ever listen to that?
Yeah.
That's a robot.
You know, these people, these young folks nowadays don't remember the days when it was a bunch of old guys sitting around reading that every day.
Oh yeah,
They record it. They record it like every 30 minutes, and it would play like 10 times or whatever, and then they record it again.
And there'd be some guy on there that couldn't pronounce a certain word or would say something peculiarly, and it was always hilarious.
Well, when it first started, it had a hard time with Punta Gorda. It would say Punta Gorda. It's a Punta Gorda.
Well,
and I'm like,
DeKalb County in Georgia came out Delaware Cab. You know, just brain deadness.
Well, I always thought the National Weather Service computer should be able to say gusty.
Yeah.
It always says with 10-mile-an-hour winds, gusty. It go 20 and gutty. It couldn't say gusty. It would say gutty. Oh my God.
It has a speech impediment.
Yeah, it's gotten better. It's gotten better. But I still miss the old guy. This is the NOAA Weather Radio, the voice of the National Weather Service office in Ruskin, Florida, operating on a frequency of 162.475 megahertz and broadcasting from the Lee County Emergency Operations Center. You think I used to work there? I could have.
Yeah.
Anyway, I actually memorized all that because I've listened to it over the years so many times.
I got things here. They go off. And sometimes when I have a hard time getting to sleep, I'll turn that on and let it drone on.
Oh God, no. I don't listen to it. No, I don't think I even turn it on anymore. It's in my program that I blow in all my radios with the scanner part turned off, but I do have it in all my radios. So I like to put all 10 of them in there. So that way, no matter where I'm at, I can usually find a weather radio.
Yeah.
But with internet and stuff, it's not needed that much anymore, but it still needs to always exist, I think.
Yeah. What if the internet goes down? That's the only thing.
Well, not only that, I don't know if you guys realize it, that signal on those bands broadcasts at a very high wattage.
Yeah, they run about a kilowatt of power.
Yeah, it's an obscene amount of wattage. It's like thousands of watts. And it may be a lot more than that even, Rick. I thought it was more like 10,000 watts.
Well, maybe
it's an obscene amount of power. They've even had issues with interfering with other stuff there at the EOC because it blares out 24 hours a day.
Oh yeah, it's on
at thousands of watts. But
like
what it's really good for.
In Atlanta are living near the tower of WSB, and they turn on 160 meters. They get the signal on 750 full blast.
I could imagine. Where that NOAA weather radio does really well is when you're in a ship and you're 300 miles off the coast, but you've got an antenna up on top of your ship that's up 100 feet or something. You can pick up that radio like 300 miles off the coast. You can still get that NOAA weather radio. It's
Unbelievable.
pretty amazing.
That
It's
is
pretty
amazing.
amazing. Yeah.
That's
I
no
listen to
shit.
Coast Guard. Coast Guard, I listen to Coast Guard sometimes. They give in their advisories and stuff. And I like when they, when they're trying to find a boat that's missing or something. Sometimes I'll tune in and listen. I have I have the full, like, I wrote a program for these radios for my 8900s, and the first 300 channels are all used. I got all the SARnet, all the FRS. I got every SARnet channel all over the state, every FRS channel, every GMRS channel, every C channel, every, the Marine channels. And mine scans aircraft. So I got all the aircraft stuff from Miami to Tampa programmed in there.
Yeah.
And I also have all the commercial stuff, Lee Co-op, FPL. I got all their repeaters programmed in there. I got everything in there. And then when you go to the 400s, that's Blairsville. When you go to the 500s, that's Atlanta.
Yeah.
When you go to the 600s, it's Tampa area, I think. But
Yeah.
I've got it all. It's all programmed. I've literally programmed like most of the channels in it. It's got like 800 channels.
Yeah.
And I just went through and wrote a program because I don't like having to find stuff when I'm out there. And so
Yeah.
now, as long as I know Atlanta is between 300 and 400, now all I got to do is just go there and start thumbing through it till I find somebody on a repeater,
Yeah.
or whatever, or just click a few of them, see if I can find a repeater, and then just
That's
put my
what
call
I
sign
used
out.
to do with my IC208. It has 500 channels, and
Yeah.
I had it set up. I'd start out with the Atlanta repeaters, and then the repeaters down in Macon and further south in Georgia, then North
Right.
Florida, then the Tampa area, and then finally the Fort Myers area. So I had about 400 and some repeaters,
Mhm.
put in. Plus,
And
I
the
just
neat thing
run it
is,
out. Yeah.
I program it with Chirp.
Yeah.
Chirp allows you to download the entire repeater spectrum from each town right into your list.
Oh, that's slick.
So I didn't even have to type any of this in pretty much. Most of it, I literally you go in and you tell it, I want everything from Lee County, Florida on amateur radio. And you tell it what bands you want, 440, 220, whatever bands you want. And then you press go. And it actually will bring it down, and it says it'll say, like, I found 93 entries. Where do you want to put them? And you actually tell Chirp where you want those to start.
Yeah.
And I'll start them at like 301. And I press go, and it programs the entire Atlanta repeater set into my 300s or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, it's freaking awesome. It comes right from Repeater Book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I love Chirp. I
But the
hear a lot of bad things about Chirp, and I'm just like, I don't understand why people
I don't
have
understand
problems with
people
Chirp.
have trouble with Chirp. I mean, it works fine for me too.
Yeah. If you got a Yaesu or an ICOM or a Kenwood, don't use Chirp.
Yeah.
It's made for Chinese radio. If you've got a Japanese radio, is there anybody else that makes radios? If you got a
Not
Japanese radio or a radio from anywhere else but China, I would check before you do it. But any of those Chinese radios work, huh?
We'd be in a hell of a fix if Japan and China went to war again.
No, we don't want that.
No, we don't want that for sure.
It's hard enough to get our chips now. All right, I'm yawning, so you know what that means. We're getting close.
It's 11:53. 22:53 is what I'm showing.
Only 9:53 here.
10:53 here.
Yeah.
We have better time
Yeah.
than you guys.
I can confirm that it's the same time here as well. Except for
Uh-oh,
Joseph, you're
uh-oh.
just an hour late all the
The-
time.
Don't get Ian started on time zones.
Z.
Time zones are just so dumb.
0253Z.
There you go. We should all just go by military Zulu time.
Yeah,
But I won't get into all that again. Yeah, what's up?
big day for what?
The what?
Big day for what?
It's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's different?
A different weather station.
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you, man, I cannot wait until this thing is done. This just whole construction project's been going on for 2 months here, and it's literally driving me nuts to not have it done. But you know, my biggest problem, and you can't see it because I got a gaffing curtain over it, is the boxes. I like to keep the boxes when I buy something. I like to keep the box for 30 days.
Oh, I
That
keep
way
the
if-
boxes longer than that. It's
Yeah,
just-
well, radios, I've still got every radio I've ever bought. The boxes. I still got my Icon box. I got the FT100 didn't have one, but all my other radio, any radio that had a box, I kept the radio box. But like my computer, I'm keeping everything for that for 60 or 90 days, and then I'm going to get rid of it. I don't have room to store it. All this other stuff I've been buying, I've got it all stacked up. It's got to go this weekend. I'm literally just going to throw it all out. Anything worth more than about $40, I'm just going to keep the main box, and that's it. Amazon, the one thing they do that I don't understand is they overbox everything.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll take, like, I had a 2 little parts that were, well, this was one of them, okay? And let's say the other one was this. It was a little smaller than this, actually. It was a single USB. And they had it in a box that was probably 12, 14 inches wide and about 10 inches tall. And it was all in there with about 40 of those air pillows. You know, those little air pillows are cool. It's like, you know, I give them to my cats. Maybe they need a pillow. But you know what you do with them air pillows? You have to lay them all on the ground and just smash them before you put them in the garbage. Your garbage would just be slapped full of air pillows. Have you ever seen how they make those? There's actually a little machine there. And as the guy pulls the plastic through the machine, it actually blows air in there and makes the pillows as it comes through.
Oh,
So right up to the point that the guy pulls it out of the machine, it's just a flat piece of plastic. But as he pulls it out of the machine, it puffs it up into a pillow, and it makes a long line of these pillows. And then they can just put that down in the box. It's a lot better for the environment than peanuts.
oh, I hate those damn peanuts.
Oh yeah.
I hate peanuts, man. I freaking hate peanuts.
Damn styrofoam things have to go right in the garbage.
It is cool though. Remember the old days when it was like a whole big box of them? They made this weird piano noise when you dumped them out. Like,
What?
it's like a weird noise when they fall out of the box. It's weird. I don't know. Maybe it's just me.
Yeah,
But I almost missed the peanuts, but not quite.
yeah.
You ever eat a packing peanut?
No. No, just because it's a packing peanut doesn't mean you should eat it.
Some of them are made out of cornstarch and you can eat them, but they're not very good.
Really? Most are made
Yeah.
out of petroleum. So
Can't be as
Joseph,
good as Tristan.
Joseph, have you had trouble getting groceries lately or anything?
Not really. Everything, well, a few months ago, we were having trouble getting certain things like cream cheese. They would be out of stock of that. It
you
was
having a hard
more
time getting formula?
No, we don't use formula. All natural here.
Oh.
But for everything else, the groceries we normally get, it's been better. Everything's usually in stock now.
Yeah.
But for a while there, it was like things that you don't buy a lot of, and you just kind of like odd things, odds and ends. It would be like cream cheese they'd be out of, or if you wanted like this specific brand of like cracker or something, they'd be out of that. It was just like specific small stuff, but they always had the essentials there. Prices have gone up. But
I've noticed the weird things too. We walked into Walmart about 3 months ago into the grocery store. We do the Walmart market. We went in there and there was not a taco dinner kit of any kind, any brand. And I'm like,
Really?
if there's a shortage on tacos, we've got a real national emergency now.
well, that's okay.
This
'Cause tacos are gross anyway.
I love tacos. Tacos are my favorite food in the whole world. I eat at Taco Bell 4 times a week.
Tacos are gross.
Something I
Chalupa.
thought looked pretty damn good. Taco Bell's coming back out with that Mexican pizza.
Ew.
You know what? I'm gonna tell you. Here's my opinion. Screw the Mexican pizza, and I'll tell you why. Okay. I don't say screw something unless I got a reason. Screw that. God bless it, Mexican pizza. I'll tell you why. Okay. It only comes as soon as it comes out, they take the fries away. All right.
That sucks.
Those damn taco fries were good. They dust them with the same stuff they put on Doritos chips. I learned the secret.
Oh my
And then
gosh.
you dip it in cheese. Oh my God.
Ew.
They're the best ever. Are you kidding me? And then I put a little taco sauce down in the cheese too to make it even better.
Ew.
But yeah, Taco Bell's the best. I'm not much on real Mexican food, but Americanized Mexican food is awesome. As long as I can get, you know what gets me about Mexican food? They always want to put vegetables in it. And I don't eat vegetables in my food. So it's kind of weird because they're always wanting to put onions and peppers and all this bullshit in there. And I'm like, look, okay, I'm okay with the beans. I'm okay with the cheese and the meat. It's all
Don't
great.
have the damn
But
beans.
beans are fun. I love beans. But I don't want no onions in there. All right.
Oh,
Onions belong on a salad or in the garbage. We don't need onions. Why do we put onions in every freaking thing? There's
Onions
people
are good
like
in
me.
something.
There's people like me out here that are allergic to onions. If I chew on an onion, I get sick. I hate onions.
All right.
I
That's
can
fair.
cook with it. Now look, I can fry a steak in onions and olive oil.
Yeah, that's why I think they're really good.
That's the best steak in the world. But I scrape all the onions off. I don't want none of that shit on my plate. Big slimy onions. Are you kidding me?
They're good.
I love onions.
No, yeah, well, they love them. That more for you. I don't want them. I hate onions, and it just does. It bugs me because, if I tell somebody I can't eat onion, like, okay, here's an example. I go to McDonald's, right?
Oh,
I go to McDonald's. I used to hate McDonald's. I used to call it kid food. I hated McDonald's.
Kid.
But I got to tell you something. The quarter pounder is really good. It's never frozen beef. It's a much better beef patty now. It's an adult burger. It tastes much better. You get 3 strips of bacon on it, and you've got a good hamburger there, right? I don't
Maybe.
like that cheap shit cheese that they put on their hamburgers. It's that goddamn milk cheese. You know that
Milk
Vel-
cheese.
you know, yeah, it's that
It's the
there's
American
5
cheese.
It's that one where no, it's not American cheese. It is not what McDonald's uses is not American cheese. Okay, it's not. It's a cheese product. It's not even real cheese.
Oh yeah. You
It's
gotta
that
call it.
fake Kraft milk cheese shit.
KC.
It's the one where they say there's 19 glasses of milk in every slice of our cheese. Now, how the hell that happens, I don't know.
Magic.
Anybody knows there's not that much milk in that cheese, but anyway. Because it tastes like nothing, okay? It literally tastes like space being used up in my mouth. So I tell them, look, I don't want the cheese. So I tell them, I lie to them and tell them that I'm lactose intolerant. It's not really a lie. If I'm
Yeah, you're
intolerant
just
to
intolerant.
it, then I'm lactose intolerant. I didn't necessarily say I'm medically intolerant. I'm mentally intolerant. There's a
I
difference.
just tell them I tell them no cheese, and if they give me cheese, I'd say take it back.
That's what I do. You
go.
go to McDonald's every single time I go in there and I order on the kiosk. I've learned the best way to cut down errors is to do it yourself. I'd go back and make the thing myself if they let me. Okay. I wish they had make your own burger. I just make that shit myself and walk out. They wouldn't need to hire anybody. I could go up here. I'll order on the kiosk. I'll pay with my card. I'll make the burger. And then I'll bag it up and walk out, and my order will be correct, and it'll be faster than they can do it.
Fuddruckers.
You know,
was like
I
that.
check out at Walmart in the self-checkout, and I'm faster than any of them people that work in there. I am faster than any of them. I get in there, beep,
Well,
and
I
I
go to
turn
Sam's
and
Club,
look at that CSM. I turn and look at her, and I'll say, $15 an hour, I'll work here.
there you go.
And every time they just smile. Nobody makes that much here.
You probably didn't speak English.
Yeah, but I do the work of 2 people. Okay. Well, around here, maybe 3.
When I go to Sam's Warehouse, this is my checkout device.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw
love
that.
it.
I'm gonna try that. They got it at BJ's. I got a BJ's card.
Yeah.
And
try
you know
it
what?
because it's
BJ's is an absolute ripoff. I've had a BJ's card for a month. I've walked around that whole building. They do not do BJ's there.
Yeah.
No matter where, they don't do them there. And I was very disappointed. Have you, is anybody else gotten one there? No.
Mm-mm.
What is it?
I'm convinced that there's no BJ's at BJ's. A BJ.
Okay.
All right, never mind. All right.
I got
All
They
right.
have Staples and Staples.
Note to self: don't do any dirty jokes with these people. They don't like them. Okay. Anyway,
I got it.
where are we at? All right.
There's a couple other stores like that have misleading titles. One's a sporting goods
Yeah.
store.
Yes, Dick's. Well, but you know what? If you've met the people that work in there, you can go in there and find a dick or two.
Have you seen that meme? It says something about Dick's. Staples. I've discovered that Staples does indeed have Staples. Now I'm on my way over to Dick's.
That's pretty good. I like that. Staples does indeed have Staples. That's true. That's true. Yeah. But BJ's does not have BJ's.
Damn.
Unless they do that in the back somewhere. I don't know. I mean, I even looked in the freezer section. I looked everywhere. Anyway, you know what? I got a BJ's card. I'm not getting another one. I'm done. I'm being serious. I'm not going to smash them. They do okay. The gas station is too far away for me to use. So if you're not going there every week and getting your gas for 20 cents cheaper a gallon, it's going to be really hard to make that $55 back up. And I went in there, and I'm really bad about price checking. Like I'll go to Walmart and I'll pick 15 items that I get every week. I get this little frozen cream chip beef. I get this little pot roast thing. I get certain little things, right? And I know how much they are, and I'll write it down. I go into BJ's. They've got all the same things, but look, you get a bag of 93 of them. Well, that's fine. I get 93 of them, but when you do the math, it's 3 cents more than if I just bought them over at Walmart in a much smaller box.
Yeah.
See, usually it's the other way around. You need to go to Costco.
Sometimes it is the other way around. Sometimes it's not. Just
know-
because you think because you're buying a big case of something that you're getting a really good deal on it. And that's not always the case.
You should look up, if you don't know what you think about Costco, but their whole business model is they basically break even on everything they sell, but they make their money on the membership, which you get like cash back in it and things like that. So it's not like they're just charging an insane amount for membership, but their products that they sell, everything is essentially break even prices, which is really interesting.
All 3 of these stores are all doing the same as far as their how well they're doing. There hasn't been one of the 3 emerge as the best discount club per se. And here's the thing: Costco's so far away from me, it wouldn't be worth it.
Oh, right. Yeah, you got it.
BJ's is not that far, but it's just a few blocks further than where I go to get groceries, so it's not too bad.
It's just about.
But
there's a Costco in Cape Coral, isn't there?
No,
Yeah,
not that I know of.
There's also one on the South 41.
If there's a Costco in Cape Coral, it's new.
yeah,
No,
I really try to stay out of Cape Coral.
Hold on, I'm thinking of the Costco in Gulf Coast Town Center. Sorry, that the Cape Coral has a Sam's Club, I think.
Yes.
We got a Sam's Club close to here.
And
too.
technically, I think the BJ's there is technically inside the Cape. Yeah, it's in the Cape, so they would have a BJ's too on Pine Island Road.
And there's a BJ's over there close to Colonial and 75.
Yeah,
in that area.
yeah, I think I've been in that one once. I don't know. I've tried to make it work, but you got to be one of those people that clips this and checks that and comes back on different days. And I don't know. $55, it wasn't worth it for
If
me.
you gotta
So,
come back on different days, you're wasting money for gas.
Yeah.
I mean, well, that's the thing. It's like, well, you save money on gas. Well, that's fine, except I never drive over there unless I'm going to the grocery store.
Yeah.
I'm not, if I drive 4 miles out of the way for gas and 4 miles back, now I've just spent half a gallon going and getting the gas.
Yeah.
And that's literally the $4 that I would have saved at the pump. So, or $2 or whatever. So anyway, it's just, if you got one where you can get gas there,
Yeah.
and you're good about doing the deals and the coupons and checking the mailers and all that, then it might be worth it. But you can save a lot of money doing other things. Like we do all of our pet food now, I get from Chewy. We
Chewy.
save a lot. Yeah, we save a lot of
Chewy.
money with that.
Ah,
Do what?
Chewy.
Chewy, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Chewy's good. Chewy.com. Yeah, that's what it's called. But I will tell you, the great thing about Chewy.com is you can get whatever food you need for your animals. Like we were talking about shortages. There was a time not long ago when cat food was becoming in short supply. Chewy had everything we needed through that period. So we moved over to them and we stayed there. And we just, I order my cat food now. I order $150 at a time.
So it's like Amazon, but for food.
It's Amazon for dog and cat food and cat toys and catnip and anything like that you need. They even have some of the non-prescription medications and stuff, like salve for their eyes and things like that. You can even buy like cat milk and stuff through them. They've got whatever you need for raising dogs and cats and birds and stuff. They pretty much have. But it's a way to save money. I'm only saving $2 a bag. But I'm not carrying 20-pound bags out to my Jeep or out to my truck and then carrying them here and then carrying them in the house. And all I do now is I just order this stuff and they bring 5 big bags at a time and throw them over my fence.
Their food's here.
Yeah. And I tell the cats, look, you get to live 2 more months. I have a lot of cats. You guys have no idea. I run a little cat shelter.
We were talking, there was some, oh yeah, Dave was saying all the things you can do for cats, and we're like, we know where we're going when we need to get cats.
Oh yeah.
Ian's got us covered.
I'm good with cats. We have right now, I think 13 cats.
Well,
it needs
I think that's bad. When I was in the Air Force, I was living off base in this little tiny garage apartment, and there was this crazy girl about 2 doors down. And these apartments are not much bigger than that shack you're in. And I think she had about 35 cats in there.
Oh my.
If you can imagine that. And you go in there, the landlady and I went in there to look around because I think they took her to the Looney Tunes or something. But went in there and there's all these cats.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Well,
Poor
you know,
things.
the one thing, there's no mice in that apartment.
Nope.
Nope.
You know, I got this thing with cats. I have a connection with cats. I think I probably was one in my last life. I don't know. But I love cats. I just have a connection to them. They love me. And I found my wife who's the same way. And it all started here. I had 4 cats. She had 2 cats. We moved in together here. That gave us 6 cats. And then ever since then, it's just been they wander up pregnant. And we get them
Turn up
fixed.
missing.
We get them fixed every time we get them fixed. And every one of my cats is fixed except the 2 little kittens, and they're getting fixed in about 2 months. We just took in another mama. She was feral. She came wandering in, pregnant and looking for food, and we gave her food, and so she found a place in our house and had her babies. And right after she had her babies, she started trusting us, and now we've decided to keep her and her 2 babies. So that brings me up from 10 to 13.
13
Oh
cats.
my goodness.
Yeah. And the last one was a mama we took in with 1 baby. And the daddy, we ended up with the daddy kitty too. We knew who the daddy and the mama were on this one, and we took them both in, and we took in the baby. And the three of them are living as a happy family here. And the daddy is so good with that baby. And now he's helping us raise the other two little ones.
Oh, okay.
Have you ever heard of a domestic male cat
Yeah.
being good with kittens and helping out with litters of kittens? It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But it just shows you they all have little souls too. They're all little people too, you know, and they all have their own little thing going on. And when you really see how deep what you thought was a shallow animal is, it's crazy. You know, these cats, they remember things for years. They'll remember things. They're just like little things. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying? I just love them to death. And I'm not much on dogs.
No.
I like dogs.
Don't like dogs. I'm not much on dogs. They say I would
Dogs are
say
dumb.
I can say I could take and leave dogs, but I really would never take a dog. My son-in-law has a couple dogs here, and they're good with my cats, and I'm okay with them. They provide us protection. They're good dogs. I like them. I pet them, talk to them, but I'm just not a dog person. I'm nice to all animals because I love animals, but I'm just not a dog person. I love my cats.
Well, my problem is that there's this like just incredibly fierce defending of dogs. If you criticize dogs or dog owners, you'll have basically the entire world just ready to murder
Yeah.
you the moment they see you. You say anything
Yep.
bad. That's my biggest problem. I'm like,
And that's
well, you guys
because
are gonna be
cats-
like this.
Everything you say about cats is their litter box stinks. They have fleas. They're annoying. Okay. When we start talking about dogs, we start talking about children getting eaten and killed.
Mhm.
We start talking about people raising fighting breeds like pit bulls. We have a real problem down here with pit bulls. When I was a firefighter, as you guys know, for 17 years. And I ran, I think, 7 or 8 maulings,
Wow.
and all but one of them was a pit bull.
And they'll always say, "Oh, he wouldn't hurt a fly. The best
He
thing."
wouldn't hurt a
and then
fly.
and then he bites the foot.
Mhm.
We saw a neighbor on our street had a dog, and there was a mother out, a new mother with her baby in her arms, and the dog tried to bite the foot of the baby.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I mean, it is what it is. Dogs are just having an issue right now between the problem of them raising all these pit bulls, these stupid rednecks I'm sorry, I'm just going to call it like it is. They're one of the few classes of people you can still talk shit about. These stupid rednecks going out and creating these animals that are bred to fight.
Yeah.
That's the bad news right there.
That's the bad. It's not that I don't like. It's not that dogs are bad. Dogs are good. Dogs are wonderful creatures. They all have the instinct to kill because cats do too. But when a dog decides to do it, they can actually do it because they're bigger and they have the abilities more than a cat would. But the problem comes to me is my problem's not with the dogs. Usually it's with the humans. It's why do we keep breeding more of these pit bulls?
Yeah.
Now, I'm not advocating for laws because I'm a libertarian. And laws have never fixed anything. I mean, they certainly didn't fix the war on drugs or the war on poverty or the war on crime or the war on robberies or the war on victims or the war on whatever. No laws have ever fixed anything. So I'm not necessarily advocating for laws, but why do humans keep making more pit bulls? They're killing children. And so it makes me mad when I go and say something about an aggressive dog. And like Rick says, you can't say anything bad about dogs. You can't say anything bad about dogs because I'm a dog owner and I love dogs. I'm
dogs
actually
are
not talking about. I'm not talking about the dogs. I'm talking about you damn dog owners that go out and create all these pit bulls.
As owners are the problem.
Right. And so that's kind of my issue. We've got issues here. We got 2 guys across the street, got a guy and his wife. They're broke up now. I think he's got a couple of roommates. They're living across the street over here. And they're 2 damn pit bulls, a white one and a brown one, get out all the time. And they chase my cats, are trying to kill my cats. I don't want to call animal control. I don't do stuff. I don't drop dimes on people. It's just one thing I don't do. Unless I have to, unless you're victimizing me. Well, this thing's come close to victimizing me a few times, these dogs. I don't want to have to do that. I don't want to, because they're vicious. If animal control comes out and gets them, they're going to see how vicious they are. They're not going to let them have them back. And I don't want to do that. I feel like a scumbag doing that. So puts me in a really bad situation,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
But my problem certainly is not with dogs, it's with dog owners. We had a German Shepherd here. His name was Nico, and he had that dog for like 10 years. And he was a dog that started through the police training and didn't make it. And he ended up with him. And that dog loved cats. He was wonderful with my cats. He used to clean little kitties and just, he loved cats. And I loved that dog. I cried for that dog when he died. Oh my God, I loved it. I've never really been close to a dog before like that. So, I mean, I can be close to dogs when they respect the things that I love, you know,
But I almost never do.
and they do, a lot of times they don't because of either breeding, training, or both. So that's my problem with it. Yeah, there you go. All right. Is there anything else, guys? It's 11:20 and I'm done.
Yeah.
Nope.
I know Joseph's done. The lights are out in his house already.
Joseph's already gone dark on us here.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, I guess it did. Yeah.
You know, I'm serious. Oh man, I'm tired tonight. It's been a good talk though. We've had fun just talking about bullshit, whatever.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Ian, did you get my email about the DMR repeater?
Yes, I did actually. I did. And I was going to mention that earlier and I didn't. So why don't we just mention it now? Actually, I was going to put it on the newsletter too, and I didn't. I'll get it in there though. My question though, the way you wrote me, is it just moved up temporarily?
Well, it's fluid.
Oh.
They originally said
it's
they're
on
gonna
a
put it-
government tower and it's fluid. That's scary.
Repeater fluid. I identify as repeater fluid.
Isn't
It
that like the
depends.
definition- it sounds like the
A
definition of
non-binary
a
repeater fluid.
It depends on when they can get the other stuff done,
Yeah.
I guess. Because they're still waiting for internet for the 147.225.
Yeah.
And they're moving the 145.17 to the top of that new condo development, which is probably Steve said he was on the roof of that place and he could see Naples.
Oh yeah.
So
That's gonna be something else. They get it up there. 147.15 is gonna go up there, and that's gonna probably cover the whole county.
oh yeah.
Are
That's
they
the-
up on the Panor? Are they on the Oasis Tower?
It's on the
Apartments?
condo that's
No,
over there across from
I can't remember the
Home
name of it.
Depot and Walmart and all that.
Oh,
Yeah, they're like 26-story buildings
They're
there
up there, yeah.
Oh, that's down by Gladiolus somewhere.
Yeah.
in that area. Yeah.
Okay, I know about where you're at, Gladiolus, east of or west of 41 there.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
And
put
that's
on
also
South
Fusion.
Tower. That's gonna be a killer repeater.
Well, that's a good spot for a tower because truthfully, the AC4TM tower is too far south.
Yeah.
And it's real hard for people up here to get that. This thing's tall enough and in a good spot. It might be the first actual countywide repeater that we've ever had.
countywide. Break it
Countywide.
down.
Yeah,
Damn.
there's nothing else.
They're going, I haven't heard any more about it recently, but they're talking about putting something up on the Campo Felice, which is right.
Oh,
down
yeah.
the Edison Bridge. That's just as tall as the other condo. That thing is
Yep.
about 20-25 stories. I think they're gonna put a UHF machine up there, but that ought to be a killer.
That's
site.
why it's so fluid. They wanted to try
Right.
it because we've been after them to get that thing out of the dirt. And so now they got it up a little higher to test it for a while. And so if you have DMR equipment, check in on local 2.
I have one sitting here in a box that I'm sending to Joseph because I didn't need it. And I'm still planning to do that. I got DMR. I got 2 different ones. I got a Bofang one and I got a TYT one.
Or TYT
Yeah.
or anything.
And I
VGA.
never got the Bofang working. Never. I spent almost a month trying to get it working. I did finally get the 440 only one, which was the TYT one. I did finally get it working. Made 1 QSO on local 2, and I had a 5-minute discussion with a guy about how I'm the only other person he's ever spoke to on DMR.
This DMR sounds so bad.
Well,
Yeah,
It's so bad.
That's because you're comparing it to like Fusion, which really sounds great.
I don't
Yeah,
care what
Fusion
I'm
sounds
comparing
good.
it to. It sounds so grainy and robot, and just I don't know how people use it for dispatch or anything like that. It just sounds horrible.
truthfully, Fusion sounds twice as good as DMR in my opinion.
Yeah.
And I've never really used D-Star, so I can't speak to that. I borrowed a DMR radio, or I'm sorry, I borrowed a Fusion radio for about a month just to see if I'd like it. A guy insisted that I borrow his radio, and I talked on the Wednesday night Fusion net and all that, and it was cool. It was neat.
Well, you know what I
am
will
just-
say about digital modes, and like I've had some experience with D-Star, and we'll have to say that the range was shocking how much further it worked than an analog repeater. We were on a road trip and we put in this random D-Star repeater, and we had been driving for like an hour and a half or 2 hours, and then all of a sudden they start talking on the repeater. It sounded kind of weird and garbled just a little bit, but it was still working and you could still make out what they were saying sometimes. I mean, we must have been like 100 miles away at that point, and that was, even for a tall repeater, that was amazing to hear that. So I will say that's the one good thing about digital is, in my experience, the range has been incredible.
I've gone back and forth on it. I swore I'd never touch it again, and then I decided a couple times I want to do something with it. I don't know. I'll tell you what I do want to do. I want to get to where I can decode it. I'd like to listen to like the Fusion net. I'd like to listen to it. It's a great net. I don't necessarily need to talk on it. I do more listening than talking. So it'd be cool if I could listen to it. And I think you can do that with SDR Sharp, although I've never been able to figure out how.
You can do it with
Yeah,
a
you can do it.
hotspot.
Oh, not the stupid hotspots. I hate those.
Well, I mean, if it's something, I don't know. I don't want to buy a Fusion radio. I'll be honest. I don't want to buy any proprietary radio that's digital. I just want to be able to hear it when I want to hear it. I was going to get a Fusion radio, and then I decided against that. I did get the DMR ones. I sent them back. I don't know. It's so hard to find anybody to talk to on analog. I just can't believe it's any better on digital. Although it does connect you with a much larger world.
If you get on the
analog,
local D-Star in Fort Myers, you know who you'll pick up on the other end? Tom Ewing.
Oh, great.
You'll get him. He'll be
Great.
listening.
And I'm sure within
Buddy.
the first few minutes, he'll be warning me about how long I've been on without IDing and how
This time
I said the wrong thing or something.
This time in
Yeah.
all new digital
Yeah.
coming to you.
Well, you're right. It's bedtime.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I guess if you guys insist, I'll make it your fault. All right. Anybody have anything else? We'll make it final call.
Don't forget about one day having APRS as a.
Yes, I do want to do that. I don't feel like I have a grasp on it enough to do it myself. And I don't think Joseph does either. We're trying to find somebody that will come on and help us present it. I'll be honest with you guys. We're out. We're at the point now where we either have to go back and start with FT8 again and start doing everything again.
Yeah.
Or
we need to go
I'm
back to
out.
work
We're
on-
literally out of big topics to do. I'm just being honest.
Yeah, we need to go back and see if we can get JS8 again.
JS8 call is, I got to do JS8 call. I got to do APRS. And there's another digital mode out there that I want to do too. I can't remember the name of it. But I've got about 7 things actually on a list. I actually have a list of things that I need to find people to do with us. And I'm having a hard time getting other people to want to come on here and present topics, even though you've got Joseph and I with you, and I make the slideshow, and I'll help with everything, and we'll be here the whole time. I'm still having a hard time finding people to do it. So if I can get it, we'll get it. If I get to the point where this project's all done and everything, I may get to the point where I finish learning about it myself to the point that I'm comfortable bringing it to you guys. But I just don't feel like I'm doing things justice when I don't have a grasp on it myself.
Yeah, I understand that.
There for a while, I was learning a new thing every week. And some things like APRS they're a little deeper than 1 week worth of stuff, you know.
S8 call are both deeper than that.
Yeah, I mean,
Didn't
that's
we
not
do-
something I can just read.
We did a little bit on APRS, didn't we? Or did we never finish that one?
I did about a 30-minute introduction to APRS. I showed them the propagation tracker page. I showed them how it works. I showed them my screen and how I was picking up other things and all that. But we never went into how to set it up or what you could actually use it for or whatever. So
Yeah,
don't know.
okay.
It is what it is. Well, but I do want to do APRS. I do, and I want to do a lot of these different things. And maybe we'll return back to some of the other stuff. I don't know what to do. There's really, if you guys realize, I don't know if you guys realize how long we've been doing this. You guys know where I think we're on 19
Well
months.
over a year.
Yeah, we're actually just over a year and a half doing this. So we're literally running out of things to do without duplicating, you know, and
You're gonna get
it's a lot of the same people on here every week. So I hate to bore everybody with it. It's been suggested to me by a number of people that we should do more actual operating on here. And I agree. I do. I want to literally set it up to where we can do more just operating. I mean, FT8's easy, but I'm talking about other stuff too. Maybe picking a channel on HF and seeing who can reach us and who can get in and who can't, and that kind of stuff. We did that one night and it didn't seem to work out all that well, but I think I had it structured wrong. I need to work on that. But if you guys have any ideas, I'm wide open.
Mm-hmm.
19 months is a long time to keep coming up with fresh ideas.
every week.
And I have to admit, the last couple of months, it's just, I'm literally just stretching, finding
Trying to find
what I
something.
can come up with. Yeah, I mean, and I feel like I'm doing an injustice sometimes, but there's, as big as the hobby is, we've done most of it.
We
Now,
have
I'm not
covered an
saying-
awful lot of things.
We have, and I'm not saying there's not another 100 things out there we could cover, but we're getting down to things where there not a lot of people would be interested in this or that or the other thing, or, you know, how are we going to demonstrate POTA on here or something like that? I mean, it's, you know, I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I'm looking for people that are willing to bring stuff or give me suggestions anytime. Other than that,
Interested in what Joseph said. They're building a repeater up there. I'd kind of like to see what they wind up doing with that.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
well, we're gonna document that whole process, and we're gonna make either make videos about it. What we're gonna do is make videos about it and talk about it on the TechNet. So that's gonna be when we're moving through the steps and everything. That's all gonna be brought on here. So there will be that.
Yeah.
Which will be good.
yeah, we awesome. I always keep my ears open down here, but it's going to be hard for me to ever get a place to put a repeater. But I've actually had several conversations recently with people that know people that, and you never know. All it takes is the right contact.
Just
Yeah.
And
It's like the club fell into two places, bang, bang, just like that.
right.
you practically are the owner of that WT4T repeater at this point. I mean, you can't get to it, but no one else has any control over it. So I
No,
mean,
and that's why it's working out good. I mean, other than the person that my first 4 nets was keying over me every time I would talk. That has quit now. The last 2 or 3 nets have been clear, and they seem to be going much better now. I was actually recording off site, and I could go back and listen to the person, and you can actually hear when they key up. And that's just terrible that somebody would do that. But
Yeah, there's some jerks.
I have detractors in the FMARC that, you know, it is what it is. I went in there and, you know,
That would be very unham-like.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
well, I have a lot of nefarious things going on. We got people flagging videos. We've got people, there's a lot of people trying, or there is a concerted effort to harm the things we do. I don't talk about it much because talking about it tends to feed the fire.
Yeah.
And the good news is most of the things that have been done to us have been able to be counteracted or had no real effect. But there is, you know, there's people out there that they're set in their ways. They don't like me because I came in with new, fresh ideas, and boy, they don't like, especially at FMARC, they don't want no fresh ideas. Not today, not tomorrow, and not ever. And the quickest way to be shunned from that community is to bring fresh, new ideas and a vigorous attitude towards completing them. But it's okay. You know what? I'm having a lot more fun now than I ever did when I was in that club beating my head against the wall with a bunch of old timers that didn't want to do nothing. So I'm happy right now because we can do whatever we want. We have the latitude to do whatever we want. And I like that.
Yeah.
And I think we've done great. And the good thing is we keep it positive, and I don't care what clubs you are a member of. Half the people on here tonight were a member of some of these clubs. I don't care. It's fine with me.
Yeah.
I wish the few negative people out there would stop what they do. Other than that, I really don't care.
But you know, it's like handling a repeater jammer. The best thing to do is to ignore them.
Yes, and I do. On the radio, I never mention that we're being jammed. I think I actually did one night. I mentioned, I think somebody's keying over me. But I generally won't mention it on the net.
Yeah.
Because
that's
again,
something
that
you don't
feeds
want
the
to do.
fire, right?
Yeah,
That
that's
feeds it.
what you want. So you
And
want-
as a matter of fact, I like to pretend like it's not interfering. So maybe a lot of times, if they don't believe, like the one night they were doing it, they were too far away. And the whole time I'm talking, you hear the whole time I'm talking.
See, the way they handle that problem in Miami is they crank up the power on their side until the jammer just has no chance anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I did. I switched my radio on that last night that it happened. I put my radio on my Yagi and I put it on 50 watts and I've got it up at 30 feet shooting right at that tower that I can see.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I'm doing the net. My radio's getting hot at 50 watts. I don't care. Or 40 watts actually, because it's UHF. And I'm doing the net. And I went back and listened to that offsite recording again. And you could still hear. They were trying. They were trying, but they couldn't get me. It's all right. So I even decided if I had to drive down there and sit in the LCEC parking lot to do the net, that's what I was gonna do.
Oh my
That would be
gosh.
Funny.
But it's quit now, so they've had their fun and it's over with. And the
There you
net's
go.
actually doing good. I had I think 4 this week, but I had I think 6 the week before. So
Yeah.
it's starting to get a little better. It's cranking up a little bit.
Yeah.
And as we get in the storm season, first time we get a good storm come through, and people realize that we're the only active channel on ham radio. Everybody else has got their radios turned off. I think it's people will start realizing the difference between what we're doing and what Aries does. And that's that we're the calm voice in the storm instead of being the
only-
tertiary plan after the storm.
One of the only voices in Storm.
Yes.
Because
If not the only, yeah.
everybody loves to not have an indoor backup antenna.
Yeah, I know. And we've even got 2 people in Naples now, which I think is wonderful,
Oh,
that
yeah.
have actually built or bought antennas for their attic so they can get to us and still be lightning safe. Or because of an HOA, but either way, it works. It's perfect. And it's great. I actually have now my antenna that I'm going to use indoor. I don't have it hooked up yet. But I'm running the wire down through my trench over to the house, and I'm going to run this up in the house, and I think it's going to hang in my laundry room. I built a 3-element 440 Yankee, and it's literally going to hang in my laundry room and shoot towards that tower. That's all it has to do. All right, guys, I guess that's good. It's 11:39 on the East Coast, 12:39 over where Joseph is. Or no, you're 10:39. You're an hour behind us. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and let it go. If there's nothing else, is there anything else, guys? I think we've about covered it all.
Covered
All
it.
right. I'll get with you. I'll get with you, Rick, in the next few days, and we'll figure out a time to stop by for some solder. And Joseph, give me a call anytime you want over the weekend, and we can work on that stuff.
Okay.
There's really not. By the way, I just want to mention one other thing. I'm sorry I mentioned this. I forgot to mention this. I was going to say this earlier. We had a problem on one of our computers with the Trunk Smart program was actually locking up like every couple of hours. It would lock up. And then the stream would sit there and broadcast dead air for 12 hours because I didn't realize it was locked up. And I don't get the alert because the alert only happens when the stream locks up, not when the audio going into the stream locks up. So it was a mess. So I asked Joseph, I said, Joseph, is there some way that we can build a command string of some kind that we can throw in there that will just shut down and restart this program every so often? He did. He built it. And like 20 minutes later, it's running. And now every 20 minutes, it shuts it down and restarts it. And so now the scanner's working great. There's 12 seconds of inexplicable dead air every 20 minutes that nobody notices because it's a scanner. And that's it. We've got it now. We're good. And we fixed it. Or he fixed it. And so that's good. I just wanted to mention that. Little things like that, you know. It's good to have smart friends. But anyway, we figured it out. That was the main thing. All right. So I just wanted to mention that. And so the Broadcastify, all 4 of those are back up, but they're going to be coming down tomorrow, and they'll be down probably till sometime late Sunday. So, all right. I guess that's about it. Anything else?
Good night. Good night.
All right, everybody. Have a good night out there.
All right.
This is the Southwest Florida TechNet, and we are broadcasting worldwide on YouTube. Join us next week at Southwest Florida TechNet. That's SWFL tech.net. Have a good night, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.